Shop budget floors and more. Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
1819 News.
The Alabama Senate has now passed a bill that would provide exemptions to nursing mothers when it comes to jury duty. The bill is designed to put into law what the Alabama Supreme Court recently issued as an administrative order. That order was that nursing mothers clearly qualify for the exemption from jury service. This bill is being sponsored by State Senator April Weaver, and it provides a 2-year time frame of exemption for a mother who submits a claim that she's nursing an infant. One amendment that has been placed on this bill is to require simply a written statement from the mother rather than a written statement from a healthcare professional. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
A woman was arrested in Athens for a hit and run that killed a man this past Saturday. The hit and run victim has been identified as 38-year-old Jesse Lee Turner. A vehicle that was involved in the crash was identified and then traced to a woman from Athens. 38-year-old Kimberly Hirth has now been charged with leaving the scene of an accident. The City Council of Mobile will be voting in a week about the bids that have been submitted to build a new Mobile Civic Center. There have been 3 bids submitted, with BL Harbert International coming in $18 million under the $255 million estimate. Hoare Construction put in a bid of $252 million, and Jesco submitted a bid of $260 million. The City Council will vote at the February 25th meeting. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
I've been doing electrical work for 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, 23 years. I love troubleshooting. It's one of my passions.
Electrical is all I do, unless my wife asks me to do something at home. Together, there's nothing that we can't figure out or accomplish.
We've seen it all here at Mr. Electric. Going in with the confidence to know it doesn't matter what I'm going to run into, I'm going to figure it out, and confidently telling that customer, you know, we got you taken care of. Mr. Electric,
power to make things better.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Oh, it's shade.
Rinse it out. One wash it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Always be closing. Always be closing.
Oh, girl, baby girl. Oh, really? Don't even play.
If you get a cough, please leave the room.
Fat broads and horse.
Shut up, silly woman.
In politics, man must learn to rise above principle.
Now you conduct yourself in a democracy.
This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader here in the studio with me. How you doing today, Eddie?
A little busy, but I'm good. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right. Life's all right. Saw Trump slams Zelensky and kind of buries Ukraine.
Hurt your feelings?
He also came out today and said, Lindsey Graham, I'm sorry, but I want one big, beautiful bill. Because Lindsey wanted to fund the Ukraine war until 2030.
2030.
So we know for certain that Lindsey Graham loves war and he loves women. Of course, much more in the whole Social Security number thing, and people are like, no, Elon, they're lied. They're not paying all that money to all the... That wasn't the original claim, guys. We'll get into that. The press is already fact-checking.
Oh, yeah.
The little they found. It's like, go ahead and fact-check it. We'll see.
Go ahead.
The next thing they find. Go ahead. Go ahead. But also here in Alabama, as we were leaving the show yesterday, it looked like this overhaul of the Veterans Board was stalled out.
Yep.
And they were going to wait a little bit. And there was apparently like a conversation, a little bit of a heated conversation between Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth and Senator Jones.
Is that right?
Who's leading the bill. And then all of a sudden, later in the night, after Ainsworth leaves, Roger Smitherman, who's a Democrat, ends up chairing it, and it passes 21-9, though it's a substitute bill. So to talk about this and many other things going on in the State House, I was up bright and early this morning working out at 6 a.m. so I could get there at 9 a.m., and I enjoyed it very much. We have Jeff Poor, host of the Jeff Poor Show, and editor-in-chief there at 1819news.com. How you doing this afternoon, Jeff?
I'm doing well, Joey. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So, number one, on just a personal note, how'd the rest of the show go today with all those great guests?
It went better than last week. No cancellations. Everybody on time and scheduled, and can't really complain. And we got some answers. So I feel good about where we were with the show today.
So in particular, this overhaul of the Alabama Department of Veterans Affairs, did you get any more clarification on what happened and then what might happen in the House of Representatives coming up?
And we had Senator Elliott on to talk about it, and two things. Ed Oliver in the House, he's the chair of the Veterans Committee in the House. He said this thing's not going to be on the fast track. He has no. He's going to take a couple of weeks to do it. He pledged, and then also said that, look, they may even have to go to conference committee to iron out some differences with the Senate bill that passed yesterday. As for the Senate side, so it passed 21-9 yesterday in the Senate. Kind of a surprise to me because I thought as you thought at the time they had punted and were going to carry this over another week. But Andrew Jones, he's a state lawmaker from Cherokee County, Gadsden. He kind of surprised everybody with a substitute. So Senator Elliott said it was just kind of too cute, is the way he described it. But it's exactly what we thought it was. That he got to a point in the process where they had already done the BIR. That was my question. How does this get past the BIR? But they got past the BIR in good faith. That nothing like what had happened yesterday was going to happen. That they were going to do this the right way, and you have to take their word on it just to get the machinery rolling. So it's already ahead of the BIR. Going into yesterday, the BIR is essentially the rule that says if you don't have the budgets passed, you don't have the education budget and the general fund budget done, it requires a 3/5 supermajority to even get the bill going, to get the process rolling. You've got to get a budget isolation resolution that requires a supermajority. They had already gotten that at that point yesterday. And Sir Elliott, when he explained it to me, was like, I could have slowed it down, but it would only slowed it down like an hour or two. And this thing was going to happen. We had already gotten the BIR, and Andrew Jones sort of pulled a fast one. Now the bill's not as bad as it could have been, is what he said, but he did indicate to me that he was a little frustrated with sort of playing the parliamentary tactics, if you will, of the Alabama State Senate to get something passed.
Well, and at this point, it's like there's so many changes, and now the substitute, I think that's interesting that Ed Oliver's sort of pumping the brakes a little bit and saying, hey, this might even have to go to conference. I mean, at this point, I'm like, why are we even changing anything? It seems like it's not broken other than the spat between the governor and the former commissioner.
Okay, so that's the whole idea, right? The policy, like what's motivating this. So we've established there's law out there, and I believe it to be valid law, that the governor can fire the Veterans Commissioner. However, what she doesn't have the power to do, at least not as of right now, is hire as a point, because it's not part of her cabinet. The board, the Veterans Board, State Veterans Board, selects who the commissioner is. And the board members are all from these veteran service organizations, all different walks of life, a bunch of geographically placed people. They want to make sure everybody has a voice, quote unquote. And that's sort of the idea. They all come together to appoint the commissioner. Well, that's like they want to bring the commissioner into the governor's cabinet. So when like an ALDOT director, a Department of Corrections, the mental health person, Dr. Scott Harris at ADPH, you're all sitting around a table, and you don't have the veterans commissioner because it's separate from the governor's office. This bill reorganizes it and brings it in. It puts it on the governor's cabinet. Now, what I find, Joey, veterans don't want that. They're really irked by the way that Kay Ivey handled the Kent Davis stuff. They don't trust her. But all I can say is the saving grace in this is she's only going to be a governor for 2 more years. The next governor, maybe this ends up being a net positive in the long run.
Hear, hear. Well, I mean, we'll see. I like the news that it's probably going to go slow, and I know there's a big rally. It should be a lot of veterans out there next week, I believe on Tuesday. So we'll see how it shakes out. But all the changes, all the last second, too cute by half, all that trickery, parliamentary trickery, it just kind of suggests this. We're not doing this the right way. But maybe I don't know Alabama politics well enough. Maybe this is a true elevation, as the governor said.
Joey, the fascinating thing is, why is this the hill Governor Ivey is dying on? She is a popular governor. She won her elections by big margins. You look at the Morning Consult approval rating. She has consistently high approval numbers. She survived COVID. No one really, I thought she was a horrible governor for COVID, but no one seemed to even hold that against her. She's using this goodwill, this political capital she has, not to get something passed, but just to reorganize the Veterans Affairs Department. It's bizarre, and all I can say is and I had Elliot told me this on the air, that it's just the petty, vindictive nature of Kay Ivey, and this is what it takes to get her motivated on something.
And one thing where something I think good is getting done, it looks like 2 bills and 1 resolution have passed the House that are part of this Safe Alabama public safety package. Just reading here the reporting of Craig Monger there at 1819 News, folks. 1 bill creates scholarships for long-term law enforcement officers' dependents. Another allows the Pardons and Parole Board and other state agencies to monitor certain juvenile offenders electronically. And then I believe the resolution was put out by State Rep. Reed Ingram here in this area. That is a budget proposal to boost funding to the Metro Area Crime Suppression Unit. MAX, as we've come to know it, it's including $3 million in reoccurring appropriations supporting a permanent 24-man crime suppression unit. So it seems like this was not just a Republican thing either, that you had Wandalyn Gavan up there speaking pretty emotionally. This got some pretty across-the-board support.
You got to get Cam Ward, the Bureau of Pardons and Paroles, to talk about the juvenile monitoring. That shooting at 5 Points South at that Hush Lounge, it was, a pretty it was a big deal. It made national news. How they came to figure out who was there and catch the person who was alleged to have committed the crime was really through this ankle monitor. They found they pinged it. They found who was there. And, because they had no idea. I mean, remember how long that went? It was just like this mystery. They couldn't find a person. They didn't really have a suspect. They were just kind of floundering with the investigation. But they knew it was a Glock switch, so we had to get right away and ban the Glock switches or whatever it was. But really the way they ultimately pulled it off was they pinged ankle monitors, and they found 3 people with juveniles. Because they have the adults. They found the juveniles. and then they found that it was the crazy judge in the Bessemer Cutoff District in Jefferson County who had this guy out on parole or whatever. He had a bunch of priors, but he was being monitored, and that's how they tracked it down to figure out who the suspect was.
That is crazy, and it looks like that bill in particular passed unanimously, or at least 101 to nothing. So, that's...
yeah, and they've always had the ability to do it, but who was doing it was always like, well, should it be this department or this agency? Like, they make these guys wear these ankle monitors, but they don't really do the monitoring. So they needed to figure out a way to organize that whole part of their program there. So, I mean, it sounds like it worked for them, and it sounds like a good idea to me.
Now, have you had a chance to look at any national politics today?
Just a little bit, but it surprised me. It was something I haven't heard.
Well, in particular, last night at the press conference, and then this post that was put out where Trump is burying Vladimir Zelensky. I mean, he is really telling Ukraine to sit down and shut up. We're going to work this thing through. I like it, but I'm wondering if this, how much pushback is he going to get in pursuing this actual peace deal?
Well, I think Zelensky's playing. I mean, this has always been Zelensky's game. Like, he shows up at the Academy Awards or whatever, and he's, he tries to sort of Hollywood celebritize himself and then leverage that as political capital to get, the Biden administration to give him billions and billions of dollars, like he's part of some righteous cause, right? And it's worked. But I think finally with a president who's somewhat skeptical of the whole Ukraine policy the U.S. has had, that there was probably butting of heads. And Zelensky probably said, "Well, I got this. I got this card I'm going to play against the president." And the president says, "We're not having any of that. You will take what we give you." And I think that Zelensky is probably at some level underestimating Donald Trump.
And then one more thing, it's always interesting, who's in, who's out with Trump. Is it his golf buddies or, I'll just read, this was a Truth Social post. He said, the House and Senate are doing a spectacular in all caps, spectacular job of working together as one unified and unbeatable team. However, unlike the Lindsey Graham version of the very important legislation currently being discussed, the House resolution implements my full America First agenda, everything, not just parts of it. We need both chambers to pass the House budget to kickstart the reconciliation process and move all of our priorities to the concept of one big, beautiful bill. And it's sort of like calling out Lindsey Graham that there were little nuggets in there funding more to Ukraine for a long duration of time. I'm wondering, is Trump not listening to some more of the old guard, like a Lindsey Graham at this point?
I don't know. I'm always skeptical of Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
But he sort of showed his new stripes. I'm like, what's about the Kavanaugh hearing where we were like, yeah, we could get on board Lindsey Graham, but Joey, he's the kind of guy that's going to let people down, and we're seeing that right before us. So that's sort of my take on the Lindsey Graham phenomenon. If you read all these memoirs that have been written about Donald Trump and his time during his first term, who was he on the phone with a lot? He was on the phone with Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham figured out a way. He doesn't have a family, he's just sort of a political creature. I think he's asexual, to be honest.
I thought he loves two things in this world. I'm Lindsey Graham, and I love war and mineral rights. Don't get me started there. And I love women. I love them all, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I think they're golf buddies, too. I'm sorry.
He's just a guy that will do the right thing on occasion and will get all
high
and excited about Lindsey Graham, and then he'll totally let you down. I don't know. What do people in South Carolina see in him?
I don't know. He does make the right noises around election time, and somehow he keeps getting reelected. And I guess one more thing I just thought of, y'all are covering it there at 1819 News. What do you make of sort of Senator Britt being the point person on all this IVF stuff? She very early on worked with Ted Cruz in the Senate, but she's kind of the front-facing part of the media when it comes to Trump's latest order on expanding IVF.
I mean, she's in that age demographic, and she's in that demographic, sort of a professional, the type of people who get IVF. Who are they going to trot out Susan Collins to be the face of this thing? Of course not. So, from a optics standpoint, she makes sense, but it's also, we know what happened in this state with that, and they kind of put all this front and center, so it's a twofer. She's unless there's, I don't know who else would be better than Katie Britt at this point to do that.
Maybe Elon Musk. I think how many kids that guy had through IVF. My goodness, man. Well, I always appreciate your time, Jeff. If folks want to check out what you're right about, thinking about, how can they do so?
It's x.com/Jeff_Poor.
Appreciate it. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks for having me on.
Again, that's Jeff Poor, and he's also editor-in-chief there at 1819news.com. I mean, what do you think of this whole, like, Lindsey Graham, like...
Needs to go.
It does.
He needs to go.
And he's starting to look puffy. You know what I mean? It's almost like Mitch McConnell. The life is leaving Mitch McConnell.
Oh, definitely.
And part of that is going into Lindsey Graham, like some vampire effect going on here.
We need a huge turnover there.
We do. And if Trump's not listening to him anymore, that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Like, put him in his place.
Lesson learned.
No, he still can serve a purpose to be sort of the bulldog to go and...
No, he just needs to leave. Best purpose he could serve is hold the door.
Fair enough. I'm just saying, if he's going to stay, have him just bark at people and be like, oh, he barks a lot. And, you don't want him to get his way because things are going to go all to the dogs.
Well, it just... And I'm sitting here just fuming because
okay,
we live in a state, we live in a society where we have just made one of the biggest voting decisions of a lifetime, where one way the country was obviously going, we didn't want it to go. All right. A lot of that had to do with the age of those people in there. Okay. And let's look at Biden. We all know the man was not what we were sold on.
Sure.
Right. So how the hell did we elect a governor in this state that is nothing more than the female version of Biden? Explain that to me. Explain how everybody is happy with her. We're not doing a damn thing. Taxes are going up. Hell, they're even talking about putting more gas tax here in Montgomery. They're taking over the Veterans Board.
Yeah.
When's the last time she was in public? She about fell out.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, wake the hell up.
Well, I'll tell you how it happened. Very few people voted in the Republican primary.
It sickens
after
me.
she inherited the governor's chair.
It absolutely
And then
sickens
the
me.
folks who vote on election day, it's like, oh, yeah, I know Kay Ivey. Like, she's been in every position in the state, right?
Right. Has she done good at any of them? Somebody, please. When are we going to start holding people accountable? At what point do people stand up? I mean, we just made this huge momentum push across the nation, and we're still sitting with this?
I'll try, because I hear you. Thank you for that. Right?
It just infuriates the hell out of me.
I'll put it as gently as I can. It's when the old Dixiecrats who tried to change their stripes pass on into the undiscovered country. That's when I think big changes, and maybe it'll be the next cycle.
I don't know.
But right now, you're right. It's the lady version of Joe Biden.
It is 110%.
And you can just go on and be a cartoon character in your political ads, and folks in the middle of watching football are like, well, that was free. No way, Jose. That's good stuff right there.
And we all know this.
Mm-hmm.
We all know this. So why are we accepting it? Why are we accepting it? We've got a lieutenant governor that actually seems to want to make some change happen. A youthful guy.
Well, and again, it's not like they very dutifully, because we study every frickin' thing to death in this state before we actually do it. It's not like you had the study commission and people looking into the veterans thing.
Oh, yeah.
In great public detail. No, it comes out of this spat where the board essentially defied her. That's what they're upset about.
Okay.
That they defied her and that they might have gotten into like, well, you crossed us, you're going against another department. How dare you try to use that ethics law? That whole aspect of it is, it's just rotten, and rotten seeds are going to bear rotten fruit.
Right.
And then you look at how the process has gone in the legislature with amendments here. Well, actually, let's just substitute this real quick at the last second. By the way, thank you for locally Senator Barfoot voting against that crap yesterday.
Thank God.
He was one of the 9.
Good deal. Good for Barfoot.
But we'll see. I saw Ed Oliver as I was leaving Jeff's show and shook his hand and stuff. And to hear him, because he's leading this, and I suspect, I try not to pick on anybody personally. I suspect, though, some of this does come down to certain people just don't like one another.
It's exactly what it is. It's a pea and
But
contest.
hearing Oliver say, we're going to wait, we'll see. What I'm worried about hearing that, though, initially I'm like, good, you're not going to rush it. But what they might do is like, wait. And last second,
Yeah. That's what
push it through.
I feel more confident in that than anything. But again, it kills me. You know, a doctor's got a code, do no harm.
Mm.
How about some politicians take that code up? How about whenever a bill is presented to you, you go, does it help the people? Because 99% of them do not. They do not help us at all.
No, they don't have a Hippocratic oath. They have that old saying. What is it?
In politics, man must learn to rise above principle.
I got 5 other bills here I want to get through, and so to get that through, somebody wants me to scratch their back, and
throw the bums out. I'm going to get some T-shirts made. Throw the bums out.
That's going to take people getting into the GOP primaries.
Agreed. But I will say this: the only hope that I have is we always talk about hope or change coming from the bottom up.
Mm-hmm.
I've given up on that because the bottom dwellers in this town are making money. They're not giving up their position. They're not giving up their power. How we've elected Trump and put him at the top, I'm hoping we have a top-down system.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm trying to think of something in the session right now we could argue about. And because most of it I think we agree on. What about this bill that, because we've talked about it, kicked it around, I haven't really taken a position, it's just fun to argue about.
Yeah.
The guy from Auburn that wants to exempt NIL, like no taxes on NIL money. They want to win.
That's not a win.
But the Alabama and Auburn, they want to win. And it's expensive these days to put together a football team, especially when everybody else is now allowed to do it.
So we compromise our ethics for good football?
No,
what
a tax cut is
now?
a tax cut.
No. Again, is that good for the people or is that good for one person or a small group of individuals?
I mean, I'll take a tax cut wherever I can get it.
But you're not getting it.
Yeah, I know. But
so that's what I'm saying. You're not getting it.
But I am in the camp of like, don't raise taxes. Don't take and give.
I'm all about that.
Just like start giving. Ideally, you just cut it for everybody. Ideally. But I'm happy to get the cut here, cut here, cut here, cut here, especially on things you want to happen.
But Joey, all they're doing is playing whack-a-mole. They're cutting here like they did on grocery tax, and then they're screwing you over here, only to bring back that grocery tax and continue screwing you over here.
And this is where we would have to play hardball. It's like, if you want me to support us winning football games again here in this state, because again, everybody else is now allowed to do it apparently across the nation.
Damn it!
No, Alabama never played players. Like Auburn never played. No, Auburn never played players.
Whatever.
Right. So if y'all want to get competitive, I get it. It's expensive to put together just an offensive line. You put together a great basketball team, not as expensive, but football team's a whole other expensive proposition. If you want to do that, how about you lower the grocery tax, not indexed, like you lower it way down. You also make overtime, that relief on taxes, permanent.
Well, somebody told me about the overtime thing, and maybe they got it figured out.
Okay.
You're a salaried schmuck. You don't get overtime.
That's true.
What are legislators? Do they get overtime? How dare you get something that I can't have or take it away? Come on, man. The only chance the working man has ever really got it is working harder, working longer.
Yep.
And just to make sure we keep you down,
we're going to take more.
Yep.
No, that should never be a tax in the first place. And I hope the feds get on it. By the way, that's the big part of this argument moving back to the federal government over the 2 bills or the one big beautiful bill. Well, Trump wants one big beautiful because the tax cuts are actually the extension of the tax cuts are actually in the House budget right now.
Okay.
A lot of the agenda, if not all of his agenda, is actually in the House. And what I'm worried about is John Thune and Lindsey Graham and a lot of these insiders, they want to do the 2-bill approach, and they're going to sneak a bunch of crap in there in that process. And so when they have to conference this thing and put it all...
That's why I want AI. That's why I want the AI. Whenever they're submitting a bill, it goes through an AI machine. Then I get to look at it. And until they can corrupt that AI machine, I'm going to believe the AI machine long before I believe them SOBs.
Man, they better get it done, though. Better get it done quick.
I had it.
Hey, but let's talk about something positive. Because this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services.
Very positive people over there, Joey.
And not only can they help you with pest control, as we talked about yesterday, mosquito season coming up, termite season coming up. Maybe you look in the kitchen and there's ants everywhere. You're like, how did this even happen?
It's not a good scene.
Or too many cockroaches.
Oh, that's never a good scene, Joey.
Yeah, especially you see one in the middle of the night and you try to get it and it escapes. It's like, how does it contort its way to get into that crack there? And so Pest Pro can help you with all of those things.
Yes.
And you might as well make them your everyday, regular pest control company so you don't have these issues in the first place.
Exactly.
But they're also, as we constantly talk about, they give back to the community. They like to highlight and support the local community there, Pest Pro Services. So I'm looking at their Facebook page now, and they're asking folks to nominate your Pest Pro Player of the Week.
That's right, Joey.
So whether it's hustle, teamwork, or an outstanding performance, Pest Pro wants to highlight local athletes who go above and beyond. You can just look this up on Facebook, Pest Pro Services, or you can email nominations to ashley@ppsriverregion.com, or just send them a message there on Facebook. But start sending in your nominations because Pest Pro wants to really celebrate great local athletes. Again, this could be an amazing game, great stats performance. It could be, man, that kid really hustled or supported a teammate. Team up with Pest Pro.
I think it's great.
It's a really good idea.
It really is.
And again, that number for them, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those guys on the radio, sent you. I like the cut of your jib today. You're a little feisty today.
I've been busy working, and then it's just frustrating when you work for yourself or you work for somebody else. Right. But systems that you can't control are out there putting their thumb on you, man. And
of course.
I've had enough of it. I just had enough.
And when you finally call it out, they scream, "Oh, this isn't fair."
That's what's killing me about the Doge.
Oh yeah.
The fact that you're mad because we're wanting to audit how you spend my money that you stole from me at gunpoint?
Right.
That tells me right away you're crooked.
Oh, by the way, there's a clip that speaks directly to your mood. The whole interview is kind of crazy. But Stephen Miller, you know that guy. I used to email him, not because we were friends. He was Jeff Sessions' comms guy. And so to get Sessions on Greg Budell's show, it's like, "Hey, Joey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey,
also,
Stephen."
he had a band, Steve Miller Band.
That's a different Steve Miller.
No.
That guy was he was a little. I'm not saying he was. I'm just saying he was like big old jet airliner.
Bingo Jet had a light on.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, good song.
Take the money and run.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then you get into abracadabra. And it's like, what drugs are you on, hippie?
That was a great song, though.
It is a good song. At least drugs are good for something.
Mm-hmm.
No, but Stephen Miller, the top advisor to the President of the United States, he was asked to be on CNN. And again, the whole interview is just him slamming her like crazy. This is Brianna Keeler, I believe, of CNN. And, well, I think it matches your energy, Eddie. Let's listen in.
Sources. You say that you're looking at widespread fraud in the IRS data. And you mentioned yesterday, and you mentioned again here, illegal immigrants who are getting child tax credits. Are you looking for that information in the IRS data?
Anytime a crime is committed, of course there should be an investigation. Is it your position that if somebody who is
Stephen,
here
are you looking for
criminally
that
is stealing
information in the
taxpayer
IRS
dollars?
data?
The federal government will find every illegal alien who is stealing American taxpayer dollars. And that is what Americans
will you
expect
find that
to happen.
in the IRS
I don't
data
even
and share
fathom the
that with
premise
law
of your
enforcement?
question.
It's a simple question. Will you
Anyone
find that
who is-
information in the IRS data and share that with law
If
enforcement?
IRS investigators find illegal aliens stealing taxpayer money, of course they'll be referred to ICE. Of course they'll be referred to Homeland Security investigations. Of course it will be. Surely your position is not that we should let illegal aliens steal taxpayer dollars. Again, you want to talk about something to be upset about, that's it. What do you think? The millions of illegal aliens who've also stolen Social Security. Illegal aliens in mass have fake Social Security numbers. They have fake identities. Those are felonies. Why should there be an entire class in this country that is immunized from criminal prosecution and arrest for committing felonies?
You should also be talking about the D.C. class.
Felony theft of taxpayer information, felony theft of Social Security, felony theft of identity. These are all crimes. And yes, they will be investigated. Yes, they will be prosecuted. And yes, illegal aliens will be deported. And you know what happens when those deportations occur?
Just very quickly,
is that
Stephen,
Americans will get jobs, Americans
if
will
they
get
got a
benefits,
child-
Americans will get houses.
Stephen, if they got a credit, a child tax credit, and they will be referred, you're saying, to ICE for that, and you would expect deported for that? Is that the position of the administration?
If it is found that a crime has been committed, they'll be referred. If it is justifies the prosecution, they'll be prosecuted. If it justifies a deportation, they will be deported. This will be based on existing IRS protocols and procedures for criminal investigation and fraud.
All right,
the difference is that no one is given immunity anymore. No one is given permission to break the law anymore. Because this is not a country, this is not a sovereign territory. If illegal aliens can freely steal billions, with a B, billions of taxpayer dollars. And I would have to imagine that CNN, which is endlessly talked about the importance of democracy and the rule of law, would say that no class in this country should be above the law, least of all illegal aliens who've trespassed on our territory.
No, Stephen, I'm just asking, I wanted to get your position on some things. We're not taking a position here. We wanted to get some answers to some questions. There are so many questions that need to be answered.
It doesn't sound to me
Miller,
like you are, in
thank
fact, indifferent or unbiased on these questions, but thank you.
Stephen Miller.
Yeah.
Same energy.
It's just frustrating. And then with as far as illegals go, I got a whole nother take on that. If you break the law, yeah, you got to go.
Oh, but what you're about to hear is we have nobody to work at the chicken plant. We got nobody to drive nails and put up houses.
Well, that's not necessarily the case. I've got a renter that works at the chicken plant. She's from Elmore County, actually.
Elmore County?
Yeah.
Is that somewhere in Mexico?
Not really.
Oh,
not
wait.
that I know of.
No, that's north of us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She works at the chicken plant.
Hmm.
When I left my house today, I had to go look at a construction site. There were people there, even though it
Hey,
was
she might
raining.
get a raise as they try to recruit more work.
Maybe.
Yeah, the word is going to be nobody's showing up. And I'm like, well, if they're not showing up, maybe they left. Like,
Not only
left,
that,
left.
We have a guest worker program. Now, there's probably more issues with that than God only knows. However, let's put some focus back there.
Yeah, maybe. We could just try to enforce the laws.
Yeah.
And actually be accountable for money and let the executive branch actually audit the agency he's supposed to manage and operate.
And it's my money. It's your money, Joey.
Right. It's just more BS from the big media. But we'll keep plowing through it. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. My last message was the report for 2024 real estate market in the River region. According to industry experts, they predict for 2025, we will have more inventory to choose from for our buyers, more buyers for sellers to show their houses to. Here are 5 tips for buyers or sellers in 2025. Number 1, sellers need to price their home at fair market value with the help of your realtor. Number 2, buyers need to be pre-qualified by a local lender prior to shopping for a house to save them time. Number 3, use a certified residential specialist or CRS to purchase or sell your home. Less than 2% of realtors nationwide have this designation. You need an expert now. 4, use someone with 48 years of real estate experience to help you with your largest investment. Number 5, quit waiting. Now's the time to buy or sell. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883, the Goodson Group, or 551-0225.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready to dress in layers. We have some Arctic air that's going to dominate our forecast for at least a couple of days. Today, breezy and colder, high temperature only in the lower 50s, falling later, then sharply colder tonight. Low temperature by dawn in the mid-20s with the wind chill factor in the mid-teens. Thursday, a very cold winter's day with a high temperature only up to about 41. The low Thursday night into Friday morning near 20 at dawn, wind chill factor 14. Friday's high does not make it out of the 40s. Back to the 20s on Friday night, and the high temperature will recover a little bit into the 50s over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Oh, look who it is on the phone.
Yeah.
Poison Ivy. Hello.
Hello, I'm over here at the governor's at her whiteboard before you go under the tunnel that goes to the legislature.
Right.
And she has said, she made a call to Jones, Legislator Jones, over there at Gadsden, Clark County, and she said, we got another emergency that just happened. We got the greatest threat against cronyism. It might stop our cronyism and nepotism, and we've got to do something. It's got to be a secret meeting, and I'm letting y'all know about it.
All right.
Now, the acronym for this threat that she sees is called Kick 'em Out with 2 M's. Now, get ready. This is what she's taking care of. Kay Ivey confronts Eddie's mean monologue on unqualified totalitarianism. Y'all better be prepared. Have a great day.
Thank you, Eddie. Gird your loins.
Kind of nervous now, Joey.
Mean Eddie. It's Eddie's mean monologue.
Am I going to get another politician that calls me at my house?
Oh, my God. No, if sometimes if some of these folks call me, I just laugh. I'm like, really, man?
It's either laugh or cry, Joey.
Oh, goodness gracious. But no, I look at there's a great quote. It was, that Love Fest with Sean Hannity. By the way, like, Sean, you don't even know how to ask a question anymore.
What do you mean?
Like, he would sit there and monologue, and he's like, Elon, I don't think people know a lot about you, and I'm like, take a cold shower, Sean. I thought I was being over the top about Elon on purpose. But he's like, you founded PayPal, right? And talk about how that led to Tesla, and talk about how that led to SpaceX, and you do this Neuralink thing. It's just amazing. Elon's like, that's going to take a while, Sean. And Trump just jumps in. Like, Hannity had no control because he wasn't asking good questions. I see what he was trying to do.
Right.
Saying you're curing the blind, you're saving astronauts, yada, yada, yada. But it's like, dadgummit.
So Trump had to jump in?
Oh, constantly. Constantly. But there was a great moment that I think applies not just to the federal government or state government or local government or even government at all, just any institution, anything you do in life. I think this is a great principle. This was part of that interview where Hannity finally shut up and let Elon talk.
To save taxpayer money, it comes down to 2 things: competence and caring.
Yep.
And when the president was shown the outrageous bill for the new Air Force One, and then negotiated it down, if the president had not applied competence and caring, the price would have been 50% higher. Literally 50% higher. The president cared, the president was competent, the price was not 50% higher as a result. And so when you add more competence and caring, you get a better deal for the American people.
And the context was they're talking about how, and Trump was saying, if you're in business, you know, you do services for somebody or somebody, you pay somebody to do service for you and they send you a $10,000 invoice. You go, well, I'll pay $5,000. And like, because they know when they do that initial number, that invoice, they're like, yeah, this is probably going to be negotiated. Here's just what I want for the work. Whereas with the government, they send in the invoice and they just send it out. And there were contracts after the job's even done or the projects are over. They're just sending it out. They keep sending them.
You think he's the first president that actually negotiated the price of Air Force One? That
Yeah.
actually got involved?
Probably.
No doubt. I agree. Same thing.
But it's that point about competence and caring. And when you look at so many things in state government, but there are a lot of moments where you go, that's not competent, nor is it caring. I mean, sometimes you get we care a lot, and there's no competency to be found. Sometimes you get a lot of competency, but it's like scholastic by the rules. Yeah. It's rigid, and like there's no care to it at all to actually change the mind or it. And that's what I think we need from top to bottom: competence and caring. It solves a lot of problems, not just lowering the price on big airplanes.
Just the fact that they've kind of put out a speed bump to everybody. We're no longer just going to pay whatever you submit. Right. The government is finally going to look. We're going to force them to look at these bills and say, hey, like you said, it was 10 grand. Hey, you know what? We're willing to give you 5. We'll probably settle somewhere around 7. But I do know this. Whenever you're negotiating, get it in writing and get your number up front. Don't wait till after the job's done to try to negotiate, because you've lost all your negotiating power right there.
Yep. You better do it up front. Yeah. I'm just checking local news here. So,
something else caught my attention this morning.
Yeah.
The former Social Security Administration head found it laughable that people think that administration is rife with corruption.
Okay.
Finds it laughable.
We'll see.
Oh, I can't wait. I wrote his name down just so later on in a week or so we can go back to him.
Well, we'll see.
Who's laughing now?
This part of the program brought to you by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. Doesn't ranting and raving get you a little hungry?
Starving.
Like, what would you eat right now? Like some camp stew?
I would do the camp stew.
It's getting cold again. Like, tomorrow's going to be even colder.
Right. I would go with the camp stew, but I would still go with my ribs dipping in the camp stew.
Dip the rib in the camp stew.
I'm telling you, man.
See, I like those ribs, but with the spicy barbecue sauce. I like their spicy because it's smoky, but it's got that nice vinegary, like, it's so good.
I do like that.
I like putting that on a biscuit.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I go there for breakfast and get like a Conecuh biscuit with some American cheese on it, and then just slather the bottom with some of that spicy barbecue sauce.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got one of the best breakfasts in town, Joey.
They really do. Especially, you could just get the cheese grits and you'll be satisfied.
Exactly right.
But, of course, you can also go there for dinner, maybe on a Friday night, get a drink at the bar, or see the live entertainment. Get you some tasty, like, pulled pork sandwiches. And the sides are incredible, too. Like the okra, fried okra,
mac
is right up my alley. Mac and cheese. You're a mac and cheese guy?
I'm a mac and cheese guy.
You look it.
I love
and
it.
I say that in a good way. That's why I like you. I'm a mac and cheese guy.
And the mac and cheese I like is not the middle. I like the corners where you get a little bit of crunch and burnt cheese. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
The point is, folks, Eddie and I wish we were at Smokehouse Pit Barbecue right now, not sitting here at Blue Water Broadcasting. Y'all get by there, especially if you got a little time off for lunch. Maybe you're taking a late lunch today, or stop by in the morning. Again, they do a true Southern breakfast that is to die for. So y'all check them out. Just stop by Main Street there in Millbrook, and be sure to tell the great team there at Smokehouse that Joey and Eddie, the guys on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, I'm Paul Doe. Me and my wife Jessica own the Seafood Bistro over here in Perry Hill and Carmichael. We've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for going on 3 years now. It has been a great turnout. It's been a pleasure partnering with a local company like Blue Water. And if you have your own business, I suggest teaming up with a partner like Blue Water Broadcasting. It's a local company that helps local businesses.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Independent Glass has been your one-stop shop for all things glass since 1978. They offer a full range of architectural products, and they're armed with the knowledge and expertise to get even the most demanding job done, big or small. Attention to detail, 24-hour replacement services, and their uncompromising commitment to excellence is why Montgomery's first choice for all things glass is Independent Glass. Call them today at 263-2823 and learn more about what they can do for you at independentglassco.com.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones here and talk to Austin Baranka with Invista Advisors. Hey, Austin, how you doing this afternoon?
Having a great Wednesday, Joey. How are you?
I'm good, other than surviving the State House for about an hour.
Well, I bet it's also good to have Eddie back. I hadn't heard him in a while, but I'm sure good to have him back in the house helping with you, too.
It truly is. Don't make me get all emotional. We have this whole shtick where I make fun of him, he makes fun of me. We're not friends.
No, not at all.
No, it's great having you back, Eddie. Great.
I love it.
So, a general question here, because my mind's on a lot of these foreign policy speeches Vance has made, Trump making claims yesterday. How much in, say, the economic side of things does peace, especially a stable peace, how much do you think that would help economies, ours and around the world?
You know, I definitely think it can help. And I'll kind of hedge what I'm saying by saying that there's also ways to make money in times of war when you load up on some of the defense spending names. But times of peace are even better because a lot of times, tariffs will come down and liquidity in the market returns, and you have transactions going on, not just domestically but internationally, and that certainly accelerates growth. So a time of peace is certainly preferred, and I've caught bits and pieces of Vance's speech in, I think, Paris, and then what was it, the Munich Security Council speech that he gave as well. That was another good one. I really enjoyed that one. But even some of the stuff that he was talking about on AI, if you notice, all the people in Paris were more talking about, the other world leaders are talking about protections and regulations for AI, and Vance basically came out and was like, hey, regulations are crushing guys in the U.S. that are leading the charge on AI, disproportionately to some of our European and Asian counterparts, and over in parts of Asia and China primarily, there's no regulations. It's the Wild West. And so if we're going to handicap ourselves by over-regulating a developing industry like AI, we're going to lose the race on AI to guys like China. So I thought it was a very strong stance that he took in that speech in Paris to basically everyone else in the room, and world leaders are kind of dissenting towards that view. But it's the first time in 4 years, essentially, that we've come out and said what we wanted to say straight to your face, and I was all about it. So I think that it's very bullish for AI. I think that we're going to see some accelerated growth in the AI space under this administration. And then in the Security Council in Munich, I think it was another instance of they wanted him to talk in a certain direction, and he took a completely different stance, and it was to our benefit. So I've been really impressed with him. I think, the more that and I've read his book, Hillbilly Elegy. I don't know if you have. It's a great read, but it's given you some insight into the way he thinks. But I've been more and more impressed with him as he has developed as the VP, and I think he could make a run for president eventually with the stances that he's taking and how well spoken he is. So I've really enjoyed listening to him develop as a politician.
Well, beautiful. And I'm on the same page. J.D. Vance has really, really impressed me. Nice having strong American leadership, especially on the world stage. And just to remind folks there at Invista Advisors, this is the sort of mind, along with a great team there, that can help you plan your long-term financial future. And it all just starts with a conversation at 387-0094. And when you call them up at 387-0094, be sure to say, hey, I heard that really smart guy, that Austin Baranco guy on that radio show with Joey Clark.
No, you're too kind, Joey. I appreciate it. And you and Eddie have a great day, and we'll talk again on Friday.
Appreciate it, Austin.
See you, Austin.
Again, that's Austin Baranco with Invista Advisors.
The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor, and separate entity from LPL Financial.
If you're going to cough, please leave me alone.
Yeah, I caught that one. Let's go to Bill. Hey, Bill, how are you?
I'm well.
What's on your mind
How are
today?
you today?
Oh, we're great. We're great.
Great. Well, you know, I'm a first time caller to your program. I listen to it a lot, but it's the first time I ever called.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I just had a little comment. You know, y'all were talking about, you know, who's going to do all these jobs that the illegal workforce works. I had an idea. You know, we do have a lot of homeless folks who need jobs and they need housing, and maybe we could come up with some simple way to give them those jobs and give them the housing and teach them how to be responsible. You know, there's a lot of kids in the juvenile system, and one of the big problems in their life is they don't know how to work. And maybe they could come up with a creative way to make a work program for juveniles and teach them how to be responsible.
Yeah, make
I mean,
money, learn
we've
life
given
skills, like maybe even a build-to-own program, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we're those folks, all of the illegal folks have housing. There's people who actually do want to work, but a lot of the people who really do, nobody wants to take a chance on those people.
Right.
And a lot of those people just need someone to take a chance on them, come alongside them, take the time to teach them something. They can work in the chicken houses and in all those chicken farms. They just got to be given the chance and maybe taught, you know, and a lot of those folks will come off the street. You know, I drive around Montgomery all the time, and I see them everywhere. I think, man, a lot of these folks look like they could work.
Oh, yeah, and I think Americans will take up the jobs if you stop a lot of the fraud and waste, and you actually open up the jobs to where a truly good wage is also offered. Interesting idea. Appreciate it, Bill. Thank you for calling. Thanks for listening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Bill.
272-9228. Yeah, but I'm just saying, that's coming. We don't have anybody to do the stuff Americans don't want to do.
It's funny you say that. That reminded me of a story I saw last night, and I just looked it back up. You know, we had that horrible storm in North Carolina, the hurricane and all that came through there and made a lot of people homeless. Well, there was one high school in Burnsville, North Carolina, where the shop class got together with the teacher, and they said, hey, how about let us build tiny houses for the rest of the year?
Sure.
And the shop teacher, of course, he got behind it. They got other local leaders behind it. That's what they're doing the rest of the year. They think they're going to get about 30 of them built by the end of the year.
And those are very livable spaces.
It very much so. To me, I was just, again, taken aback. These are seniors in high school that came up with this idea. Eddie wouldn't have came up with that idea when he was a senior in high school. So it makes me feel good about the future, but also that's how affected these people were.
No, and there's something about seeing your work rewarded. I think there are a lot of folks, especially if you're a wage employee sometimes, where you feel like I work, and I'm not getting ahead. And maybe you're spending too much on something, but often, especially in this economy, no, people cut back, and they're still working hard all the live long day, and you're not getting ahead. That's that is not a good environment for the country in general.
It doesn't bode very well for you to work harder. But really what got me a couple years ago, we were in Jamaica on vacation, and I busted my butt to ever get on vacation. Well, we met some people that were there. They lived off the government, and they were very open with the fact that, you know, we were the suckers.
Oh, that reminds me. Bobby Kennedy gave his opening kind of salvo speech about what he's doing, but
did not catch
it's rumored that he's taking junk food off of EBT. He's
Okay.
going to push for that.
Got a crazy story about that.
All right.
Frozen drink company I used to work for. The big reason we bought the Southeast Territory is because you could buy a frozen drink,
Frozen drink.
icy,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
with a food stamp. That's the entire business decision of why we bought.
So
the
you
Southeast.
essentially have like a certain amount of demand, that's going to be out there because of the guaranteed government money. Huh.
Yep.
Now, and I wonder too, if you look into like the farm bill, like how much is being propped up because of guaranteed government money flowing in certain directions?
That's a very good question.
And I don't just mean like propped up in like in terms of businesses taking advantage of it. I mean prices as well.
Right. Well, that's a big thing too. Whenever we have learned, whenever the government gets involved, it screws things up.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it is tough for you to do direct business with a farmer. It is because of the government.
We'll get into all this and more after the break.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The U.S. Senate has confirmed Kelly Loeffler, a Georgia businesswoman and former senator, to lead the Small Business Administration. The Senate approved Loeffler on a 52-46 vote. President Trump's administration ordering a halt to New York City's congestion pricing system, which thins traffic and funds mass transit by imposing high tolls on drivers entering some parts of Manhattan. Launched on January the 5th, the city system uses license plate readers to impose a $9 toll on most passenger cars entering Manhattan neighborhoods south of Central Park. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy called it a slap in the face to working-class Americans and small business owners. On Wall Street, the Dow dropping 156 points, but the NASDAQ is ahead 5. This is SRN News.
For many out on the streets with no address, when the hope dies, it's hard to be found.
You get these people off our streets now.
It's not that simple. They're human beings. Where are they meant to go?
Homelessness could happen to anyone.
I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Their story is our story.
You never know in life why things work out the way they do. Never give up.
No Address, starring William Baldwin, Ashanti, and Ty Pennington. In theaters February 28th. Get your tickets at noaddressmovie.com.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. We make the amazing Solaire infrared gas grills that are built to last and will consistently deliver better than restaurant grilled food. The Solaire infrared burner heats up to 1,000 degrees in just 3 minutes, even in the dead of winter. The high heat locks in the juices and flavor and grills food faster. Learn more about these fantastic USA-made grills at BestHotGrill.com. Solaire, hot, fast grills at BestHotGrill.com.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by the Harriet 2.
The Harriet 2 Riverboat has the perfect way to start your weekend each Friday with the Spring Dinner Cruise. Enjoy live entertainment, dine on a delicious family-friendly dinner with your favorite beverage from the Cash Bar. Boarding starts at 6:30 and the cruise at 7. Book your cruise today at funandmontgomery.com.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready to dress in layers. We have some Arctic air that's going to dominate our forecast for at least a couple of days. Today, breezy and colder, high temperature only in the lower 50s, falling later, then sharply colder tonight. Low temperature by dawn in the mid-20s with the wind chill factor in the mid-teens. Thursday, a very cold winter's day with a high temperature only up to about 41. The low Thursday night into Friday morning near 20 at dawn, wind chill factor 14. Friday's high does not make it out of the 40s. Back to the 20s on Friday night, and the high temperature will recover a little bit into the 50s over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASC loan payments from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. www.yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Montgomery police have launched a homicide investigation following a weekend shooting. MPD were called to the 100 block of Nottingham Court in the Forest Hills area late Saturday night, where 33-year-old Reginald McRae was suffering from a gunshot wound. McRae died of his injuries in a local hospital on Tuesday. Suspect and motive remain unknown. President Donald Trump signed an executive order Tuesday promising to expand access to in vitro fertilization and make IVF treatments drastically more affordable. Last year, Trump declared public support for IVF after the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that frozen embryos can be considered children under state law. The city of Montgomery has secured $420,000 in funding from the Bloomberg American Sustainable Communities Initiative. The city plans to use the funds to fight food insecurity, provide green job training, build an outdoor market within a historical black community, and inspire local action for climate and equity issues. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Oh no, Eddie. Oh no. They've messed up. They've gone and messed up confirming Bobby Kennedy.
You kidding me?
Because all you big old girls and boys out there, he's putting you on a diet.
Oh, he's going to take my snacks.
He's going to put you on a diet. No more Doritos, not even the Cool Ranch.
They just came out with a new one.
Oh, you've had enough Doritos.
I know.
Like, think of all the Doritos you've consumed in your life, myself included.
This is my plan, though, because it's coming. I'm going to go ahead and hoard some snacks.
No more Doritos, no more Cheetos.
No more yellow number 5.
Yeah, no more Mars bars.
Mars bars, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if you got your own money to pay for it, you can buy whatever you want, I guess.
Well, what I have learned is via the internet, you can buy snacks from other countries. That might not be part of his healthy mission.
I'm wondering, to help Bobby Kennedy succeed in making America healthy again, does fat shaming need to come back?
It's effective. I'll give it that. It's very effective.
Is it? I'm not talking about you and I, because it clearly worked on us. Thank you, Romex Angler, in the comment section here on the stream. By the way, Joey Clark live on YouTube.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
no, it works. It's like,
worked on
and,
two.
well, and also having to see yourself on camera.
That
after
not
the
helping.
fact, you're like, ooh, ooh.
So, but is that not a form of fat shaming? You're
Right.
forced to look at yourself.
Yeah, but then you have other folks who are like, I'm a protected class. This is why they march.
You can't grow yourself into a protected class.
That's what they claim.
And they ain't marching very far.
So I think some of it's going to be big old changes to food. That's going to be interesting. But here's Bobby Kennedy in all seriousness. This is the first big speech after he was confirmed as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Let's listen in.
Last Thursday, President Trump signed an executive order to establish the MAHA Commission to study what has caused the precipitous decline.
Wait. What are you chuckling about?
Maha!
The Maha Coalition.
I mean, I appreciate the MAGA.
No
but
more fudge rounds. No more oatmeal cream pies.
Is there going to be a sticker on there? Maha!
Maha. But anyway, executive order to help the Maha movement. Keep going, Bobby.
American health over the past 2 generations. So we will convene representatives of all viewpoints to study the causes for the drastic rise in chronic disease. Some of the possible factors we will investigate were formerly taboo or insufficiently scrutinized. The childhood vaccine schedule, electromagnetic radiation, glyphosate, other pesticides, ultra-processed foods, artificial food additives, SSRI and other psychiatric drugs, PFAs, PFOAs, microplastics. Nothing is going to be off limits. Whatever belief or suspicion I have expressed in the past, I'm willing to subject them all to the scrutiny of unbiased science. That is going to be our template, unbiased science. That's something that will make us all proud of this agency and of our role in restoring American health. Let's commission research that will satisfy all the stakeholders once and for all. Let's use protocols that we all agree on in advance and not alter the outcomes of studies when they're halfway through and that they look inconvenient. Let's all depoliticize these issues and reestablish a common ground for action and renew the search for existential truth with no political impediments and no preconceptions. Finally, I want to ask you.
What a radical.
I still will say this, even with him being there, they've got a long way to go to get me to start buying into their believability again. They've lied to me my whole life.
Oh, the science folks.
Yeah.
And
So-
yeah.
So, I mean, I appreciate he's there. I do have faith and trust in him. However, he is a human, and I'm not going to just openly agree to everything that comes out of his mouth. And he better not mess with my Doritos.
You can buy your own Doritos. The government shouldn't subsidize your fat.
Oh,
ass
no,
eating
no, I
Doritos.
agree with that now. Fudge rounds? No, you buy your own fudge
I think they're delicious, but in a very manufactured way. You know, those things that bring the nostalgia, they're like not that good,
yeah,
but they are good. Like seriously, a fudge round oatmeal cream pie, those things are freaking great. I mean,
Double
they're
stuffed.
so fake.
I like the double. But
The
yeah.
double, oh yeah.
Because I'm a cream pie guy. I got to have the cream.
Absolutely, you have
But
to
yeah,
do that.
double. Way to do it.
And I think back to old morning routines. I'm like, ooh, I was killing myself eating all that junk.
Now, would it have been different if you had an orange available? Would you have down the orange instead of the oatmeal cookie?
No.
Me neither.
No, I would have made the poor choice. Yeah, I was working, coming back from college, working at Parks and Rec here in the city, and I tried it one morning, but like every morning, one of the guys in the truck, like we'd leave the shop, we'd stop at a gas station. How hard we're working.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
For the
Well,
city.
you got to get energy up, man.
And this one guy would always get 2 chili cheese dogs, and I mean the gas station
First
where,
thing in the morning?
where you're pushing the plunger to get the cheese and the chili out. You know, what I'm talking- and it's just those bags they put in those dispensers, and like the hot dog's just been rolling on that wienerisserie for a little while.
It's got some crunch to it.
And I did that one morning. I'm like, what is wrong? How does this guy do this every day? And he wasn't even that fat. I'm like, what is going on with this guy?
I met this lady Sharon at Hyundai. 5 in the morning, she would have sardines.
Ooh.
And crackers.
Oh, that's
and
stinky. At least,
mustard.
ooh, stinky.
Every day. Every day.
And then you had what? The guy would take his teeth out to get a pimento cheese
Yeah,
sandwich?
Billy Goat. Yep.
I like pimento cheese, though, despite your story.
Imagine a set of teeth next to him.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
But even today, this gets me, and it might not be something your family did, but old timers would dip their cornbread in buttermilk and eat it. And it just grosses me out to the nines.
Like sour?
Yeah, butter. I mean, that was a big thing, dude. It was like a delicacy. So that's how times had to be bad back in the day when
there's
that
some
was good.
weird food stuff, man. Especially like you get into the Nordic countries where it's like Let's throw some ammonia flavor on there.
The worst I've seen and smelt was stinky fin soup made by an Alaska villager. They literally bury it on the beach for 6 weeks before they go dig it up and boil it.
Or you get into like the fermentation in those parts of the world, or the fermentation in the Asian countries, like the century egg.
Ooh, Joey.
Or the stinky tofu.
Stinky tofu. I watched one of the eater guys eat that, and he'll eat anything, and even he couldn't.
I must admit, I have been retraining myself on how to eat. Like, in the trick, for me at least, is don't kill yourself. You don't track, you track your calories every day.
Okay.
But it's not like you think of it in terms of the week. How much did I burn? How much did I consume in the week?
So if I go a little over a day?
So, yeah, friends, I invite you out on a Saturday. It's like, yeah, okay, this is my day where I'm going to eat a little bit more.
Okay.
Maybe I worked out a little harder. You don't have to kill yourself. But as I have retrained myself to eat grilled chicken breast and eat green beans again,
Mm-hmm.
or just eat a good steak or eat a good cut of fish or something like that with a vegetable and a starch, like real simple. And then you try to go back to, I'm going to pig out on fast food today. It doesn't taste good. It stinks. Like, it really does stink. I love ranch, but ranch is stinky. It stinks. Like, and if you go without that stuff for a while, you're like, what is this?
You smell that chemical smell. It's a non-natural smell.
Mm-hmm. And I think us Americans are so in that chemical soup that it takes a second. It does take a conscious effort, at least for a little bit, to get out of that habit.
Oh, yeah.
I always think back to this, I can't remember his name. I'll have to look it up. It's a guy who's like in amazing shape, like some CrossFitter, you know, that gay workout organization.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, amazing shape and true athlete. He wanted to do an experiment of like getting really, really fat and then losing the weight again. And he thought it would be kind of a piece of cake. Like, I get to eat whatever I want,
right?
including cake.
Yeah.
And he got like 70 pounds overweight. Like, it was night and day from this ripped Adonis looking guy to like, he looked unhealthy and fat. You can see it in the face and the huge gut and all this stuff. Man boobs. Who likes man boobs?
Some women find them attractive.
Really?
No.
Handsome women?
That's what I tell myself.
All right. Just poking out of the shirt.
That's right.
Anyway, he realized, okay, like, I know how to work out.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to burn this. I know how to eat healthy, like abstractly. I've done it my whole life, and I just tried this getting fat thing. He said the worst part is the mental. Like, you do have to retrain yourself. Like, and he really started to feel for clients who are really overweight, because that first move, that first step is like the most difficult thing in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like the psychological block, and your whole body is trained to crave that processed sugar, that's really salty, savory stuff.
Like cocaine.
Like, just throw everything at it. Fat tastes good on everything. And I mean, he lost the weight. He's done it twice, I think. And you see these extreme body transformations in actors and whatnot, like Christian Bale in particular.
Dude, yeah.
Like how fat he got to play Dick Cheney.
What was the one, though, where he just slimmed down to nothing?
Yeah, that was a bad one. And McConaughey did something like that,
McConaughey
too.
did one, too, yes. Yeah.
The Machinist is the one, I think.
Machinist. That was awful.
Right. And then you see him in, American Psycho,
Yeah.
and he's like the Adonis, but also he's a psycho. And he will axe you in the head to Huey Lewis in the News.
But he's also American.
Well, that too. I have to return some videotapes. I had a roommate who really liked that movie way too much. But I still love the guy. Anyway, sticking on the health thing.
Yeah. Trump
signed this executive order I mentioned to Jeff Poor about IVF.
Oh, yeah.
And, other than Elon Musk, our Montgomery's own United States Senator Katie Brett has kind of become the face of this, to where, before I even play it, let me pull it up on the screen. Look at the facial. I'm starting to look at this more, like the facial cues and little expressive cues, body language. Look at Jake Tapper there.
Yeah, but
looks like he's letting out a fart.
Look at her. That's why I hate frozen video. And it happens to us all the time.
She looks fine.
No, Joey, she's mid word, and your eyes are closing, and I catch myself. Sam sends us photos of us doing this all the time.
I
now eyes are open,
bit, and she's smiling.
Now it's a great photo.
Yeah, but look at Jake Tapper's little my faux concern. I just asked you a very hard question.
Stand the guy.
Anyway, let's hear what the senator actually had to say.
If you look at the numbers, Jake, just over the last several years, our fertility rates...
that's his listening face. I've learned this doing this job enough. especially now the camera's on us and all like
but he
20 of y'all watching.
He has RBF.
That you have to, like, as you're looking at one of these politicians talk, you do have to have a listening face.
I'm not good at that.
No, you react way too much. But the listening face is like, tilt the head to one side, tilt the head the other. Anyway, let's actually hear the clip. Sorry, folks.
Look at the numbers, Jake. Just over the last several years, our fertility rates continue to drop. You have 9% of men that have challenges with fertility, 11% of women that have challenges with fertility over the last 40 years. Sperm counts have been down 40%. As we look to help people bring life into this world, God's greatest gift, making sure that we remove any impediment to that is critically important. So I'm excited. And once again, this is promises made, promises kept from President Trump and his strong leadership on this important issue.
And speaking of sperm counts being down, thank you, Senator. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they seriously, across the board, can help you out with your health.
Yep.
You might go in thinking, I've got the low T issues. I got the weight gain. I got the loss of muscle mass. I'm tired physically and mentally all day. I have no sex drive to speak of. But then you can go in and you realize, no, it's not testosterone. And,
Right.
And I'll let you know, this is why it's so important to get that test done. But then they can start to examine, okay, what is the underlying problem here? And it's good to understand there's a difference at a biological, fundamental level between men and women.
Oh, yes.
And so men out there, I know you hate going to the doctor. I don't like going to the doctor.
I hate it.
But why not? With discretion, they're very discreet there at Montgomery Men's
Yes, they
Health.
are.
Just make an appointment. And the providers there can conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. It's really a quick blood draw. They run the test. They ask you a few basic questions about your quality of life, how you're feeling, what you're going through. It could be, you're not performing.
Right.
That
Could
sort
be a
of
performance
thing.
issue, certainly.
Right. It could be that. Well, they can help you through any and all of those problems. And they have low T treatments that can truly change men's lives. Men after treatment can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido, and you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or you can always go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. The IVF thing is a very real issue.
Oh, yeah.
I know people my age.
We know people
I'm in
our circles.
my mid-30s, and there are folks who waited because both the husband and wife are kind of career, and they're having fun, having no kids. They got all this disposable income, and but you do. Men and women, I think worse for women, but men and women, you start hitting your 30s and you're like, well, it's just me and I suck.
Yeah, what's it all for?
All right, and then people try, and the old-fashioned way ain't doing it. So you try again, and again, and again. And you keep trying because it's kind of fun to try, but then it starts being sad, It's not happening. So you can start getting the tests and who's got the issue here? Why is this happening? And all this stuff is very expensive.
Oh,
and in fact, and once you take that next step into IVF, it's people have been priced out of it for too long. And this is always the case with new technology. But I think this effort to sort of make this widespread is generally a good thing. The underlying technology, there are going to be big conversations about customizing. Once you start getting into gene editing and other things like that, you might be asking for some huge problems, but that might be something for another day.
I agree. I'll gladly kick that can down the road, but I do know that's a conversation that's going to have to be had.
272-9228. So let's go from babies to war, or at least Trump trying to end the war.
Some people ain't down with that, Joey.
Why?
You tell me. Maybe they're making money. Or maybe
I do love. Folks think it's all about me and my, what is it?
It's not just about sex.
It's not just about sex. I, Lindsey Graham, love things like mineral rights. Ooh. And I love things like pipeline paths, like oil comes out of the ground.
Yeah.
You dig deep.
Bubbling crude.
Just get that drill. You dig in deep, but you got to clear the way. You got to control the land.
Right.
So I love war. I think it's good for stuff. So Lindsay.
I don't know about all that.
Lindsay's all for war.
Oh, yeah.
A few others are like, well, I won't have my job if, like, okay. But I think Trump is actually putting his foot forward in a great way. He's actually following through on what a lot of people.
It's the whole reason this is
wanted him
something
to
else
do.
I don't get. We all voted for this, yet the side that lost said, "Can you believe the things the man's doing?" We had a list.
No, it's pretty.
We're just going down the list. We can give you the list.
Mm-hmm. So this was last night or yesterday afternoon. This is Trump giving a press conference. First, he's kind of giving his reasons. Like, he just wants to see people stop dying.
I want to see peace. Look, you know why I want? Because I don't want all these people killed anymore. I'm looking at people that are being killed, and they're Russian and Ukrainian people, but they're people. Doesn't matter where they're from on the whole planet. And I think I have the power to end this war. And I think it's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down. But they chose not to do it that way. And President Biden, in all fairness, he doesn't have a clue. What he was so bad for this. He was so bad, so pathetic. It's so sad. But with all of that being said, look, it is what it is. When I left, there was no chance that this could have happened. But it happened because we had incompetent leadership at many different levels. But when you see what's taking place in Ukraine with millions of people killed, including the soldiers, millions of people killed, a big percentage of their cities knocked down to the ground. I don't know how anybody even lives there. You know, when they say they took a poll and Zelensky's at 4%, who's living there? You know, I mean, it's hard to believe that people live there. Their cities are being knocked down. And this is something that would have never happened. And by the way, for 4 years, it didn't happen. It was never going to happen. Go ahead.
And so, you know, you see his rationale. I think he's right about all that, by the way.
He is right about that.
But he didn't slow down, because as we were talking about earlier, Zelensky's out there saying all sorts of things.
Being the guy on the losing end?
Yeah. Well, here's Trump essentially burying Zelensky, and then we'll get to the statement. He made it, if you missed the press conference, he made it abundantly clear in a post later, but here's first the press conference.
We're hearing that Russia wants to force Ukraine to hold new elections in order to sign any kind of a peace deal. Is that something that the U.S. would ever support?
Well, we have a situation where we haven't had elections in Ukraine, where we have martial law, or essentially martial law in Ukraine, where the leader in Ukraine, I mean, I hate to say it, but he's down at 4% approval rating.
Wow.
And where a country has been blown to smithereens. You got most of the cities are laying on their sides. The buildings are collapsed. It looks like a massive demolition site. So many of the cities. I mean, they haven't done it in Kiev because I guess they don't want to shoot too many rockets in there. They've done it 20%, but they haven't done it 100%. If they wanted to do it 100%, it would probably happen very quickly. But you have cities that are absolutely decimated. And yeah, I would say that, you know, when they want a seat at the table, you could say the people wouldn't the people of Ukraine have to say, like, you know, it's been a long time since we've had an election. That's not a Russia thing. That's something coming from me and coming from many other countries also.
And of course, the usual mainstream corporate press organs and yada, yada. How dare you? That's a Russian talking point.
Let's look at it another way. Let's put ourselves in the Ukrainian shoes, and we've got a leader that we know is nothing more than a stage actor at best, and we're getting our butts kicked every single day, and nothing he does seems to make it any better. Yeah, I'm guessing he'll probably not win the re-election.
So Trump didn't stop there, because there was a lot of reaction, to put it mildly, to that statement. So Trump doubles down. He posted on Truth Social.
Good.
Think of it. A modestly successful comedian, Vladimir Zelensky, talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion. And a lot of folks are like, wait, no, we only appropriated 200 something. It's like, you not think other channels are funneling money into there?
Right.
To go into a war that couldn't be won, that never had to start, but a war that he, without the U.S. and Trump, will never be able to settle. The United States has spent $200 billion more than Europe, and Europe's money is guaranteed while the United States will get nothing back. Why didn't Sleepy Joe Biden demand equalization? And that this war is far more important to Europe than it is to us. We have a big, beautiful ocean as separation. On top of this, Zelensky admits that half of the money we sent him is missing. He refuses to have elections, is very low in Ukrainian polls, and the only thing he was good at was playing Biden like a fiddle. A dictator without elections, Zelensky better move fast or he is not going to have a country left. In the meantime, we are successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia, something all admit only Trump and the Trump administration can do. Biden never tried, Europe has failed to bring peace, and Zelensky probably wants to keep the quote-unquote gravy train going. Yes. I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job, his country is shattered, and millions have unnecessarily died. And so it continues.
What you didn't cover there, or he didn't cover, is where have they said 50% of the military hardware we sent them? It's missing. It's showing up in Mexico.
No, it's a big pot of money. And like most of the stuff the federal government does, everybody's got their rake on it, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I'm assuming that...
Well, and some of this, I think Zelensky, for propaganda reasons, said, I only got $70 billion. Where's all the other? It's like, well, the Congress did say that actually most of this is going to go back to like the Lockheed plant and Troy and into your backyard and to your backyard for us to produce more weapons.
But if I'm sending you money and I'm getting some of it back, I don't want you to keep an accounting of it because then they're going to say, well, what happened to this 10%? Who's the big guy?
Who's the big guy? It's always the question.
Yep.
No, I watched Mike Waltz, Secretary, who's the National Security Advisor, Secretary of State, Rubio, and Howard Lutnick, or excuse me, no, that's no. Howard Lutnick is the Commerce Secretary, just confirmed, which is great. Watched a video of him that was poignant about 9/11. Maybe I'll have to find that and pull it up. It's a pretty incredible story. I mean, Steve Witkoff is who I'm talking about, who's sitting there with Rubio and Waltz. Witkoff is like the special envoy who essentially Trump's point man on a lot of these geopolitical negotiations, and he is straight up New York real estate guy through and through.
Good.
And I don't know what he's saying to people, but he gets stuff done quickly. And they were talking to the press after meeting with the essentially equivalent Secretary of State for the Russians, Foreign Minister Lavrov, and a few others. And they're like, well, we've started the talk and we have 4 principal things we're going to lay out here. And this is just the beginning. This is sort of like, we need to redevelop missions. Like there's been hardly any talking, no diplomatic missions for the United States or Russia in their respective countries. Like no talking, none of this. And it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But the negotiations are ongoing. And folks are upset. It's like, why didn't you get the Europeans and Zelensky in the room at the same time?
They've had how many years?
Well, and there's also a thing, what is it called? Shuttle foreign policy, where you talk to Putin.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Vladimir. And then you immediately pick up the phone 30 seconds later and go, oh, hey, Vladimir Zelensky, what do you think? Oh, you called the folks in Europe. Hey, what do you think? And like, they're all being read in on this stuff. But the idea of let's all just multilateral get in the same room on the first day, it's designed to fail.
Yep.
What Trump is going to do is continue to hold leverage by being essentially the center of energy, the dynamic that is actually running the negotiation by keeping all players sort of at bay. We'll see. I think it'll work. But a lot of folks are, any outbreak of peace, there's a lot of folks that get a little upset about it.
I think he's going to dictate the terms to Zelensky, period.
Yeah, I think that's where
and we're going to do it with you or we're going to do it without you. Because let's be very honest, he's a dead man walking either way.
Well, and to the Europeans. It's like, guys, okay.
Not only that, how long, and we all know, they had a plan, they could have done this, but they chose war. They had a plan to this plan, but they chose war. So at this point, you're such a failure, you're not allowed in the room. You go play outside with the little kids. Grown folks got some talking to do.
272-9228. I got to hit a quick break here.
Right.
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Honey?
Yeah?
Do you think it's safe using all these extension cords?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Actually, too many extension cords can be dangerous. Call Crosby Electric to add new outlets.
Sure is dark in our yard.
Good. We'll sleep better.
Maybe you will.
Crosby Electric does landscaping lighting for beauty and safety, as well as security lighting for peace of mind.
Oh, darn. The vacuum cleaner just tripped a breaker.
Honey, never vacuum while I'm making popcorn.
Tripping breakers can indicate a potential fire hazard. You really should have it checked out by Crosby Electric, serving the river region for almost 50 years.
Sweetheart, are you ever afraid that lightning could damage our electrical system?
Afraid? Come on. No. Maybe we should call Crosby. You know, just give him a call.
Full house surge protection can protect you and your possessions. For an assessment and for all your electrical needs, call Crosby Electric 272-2085 or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready to dress in layers. We have some Arctic air that's going to dominate our forecast for at least a couple of days. Today, breezy and colder, high temperature only in the lower 50s, falling later, then sharply colder tonight. Low temperature by dawn in the mid-20s with the wind chill factor in the mid-teens. Thursday, a very cold winter's day with a high temperature only up to about 41. The low Thursday night into Friday morning near 20 at dawn, wind chill factor 14. Friday's high does not make it out of the 40s. Back to the 20s on Friday night, and the high temperature will recover a little bit into the 50s over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back.
Okay, I've been playing with Grok 3. I need to go directly to the Grok 3 AI because it can make like videos and stuff now.
You have his permission, right?
Yeah, and I start making like music videos.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you going to be starring in the videos, or are you just going to do some like? Pictures?
No, I think certain songs I need cats dancing.
Well, that's a very
it's always a hit on the
thing,
internet.
right?
Yeah, right, and it's always hilarious.
Another very popular thing is there's a calendar I saw, Angry Cats, and it's very angry cats. 12 months of very angry cats.
Shamelessly start leading into the cat videos and the dog videos and the adorable, wholesome
when
stuff.
When you do a cute little love song, slowing it down.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to slip a puppy in there.
Right. Right.
Maybe a candle in the background.
Or recreate Lady and the Tramp, where they're having a wonderful dinner and like the spaghetti and meatballs and all that.
You're on fire.
Let's go to Cranky. Hey, Cranky, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Another day, another dollar in debt.
Man, I'm going to tell you, has nobody cracked the case yet on why this war was allowed to continue?
Oh, I think everybody, it's very obvious, just nobody wants to admit it openly.
Well, I'll call the baby ugly. I listen to Neil Bortz long enough to say that.
Well, some babies are ugly.
They are.
Probably got ugly parents, too. It's when there's a good-looking couple and they birth some Quasimodo. You're like...
That's how you know somebody stepped out.
It sounds like a Maury episode about to happen. Who's the father?
My babies were born naked and ugly. What can I... Oh. Anyhow, 10% for the big guy, and God knows how much for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Zelensky, you don't think he's got an exit plan?
Oh, there's no doubt. No doubt he does.
Right.
Actually got a beautiful place in Miami.
Well, yeah, down there by Trump. Yeah,
he does. He's got a beautiful place in Miami.
Who does?
Zelensky.
You're serious?
Oh, yeah, dead serious.
He better get out soon. I got a feeling that guy might not survive.
No, he's not. He's dead man walking.
War crimes trials, baby. War crimes trials.
He won't see that.
He can't pardon for that.
Yeah, he won't see that.
It's just pray for Trump's safety and Musk's safety and everybody else that's trying to wrestle this wretched animal down to the ground, because they will stop at nothing. I mean, it's not just they're losing the golden calf. They're going to go to prison for this. A lot of people are going to go to prison for this. It's not a coincidence that Google ramped up how much 100% searches for criminal defense attorneys.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obama and Biden were the salesman of the year for the gun industry. Trump's going to be the salesman of the year for the Trial Lawyers Association. Think about it.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, and I'd never fully bought the argument that this is good for us because it's hurting Russia. I don't think in the long run that is a great dynamic, especially with an enemy you don't really want to fully defeat because of the nuclear weapons and whatnot. And it sounded like, listening to Rubio yesterday after that first meeting with the Russians, they're really going to try to use this peace deal, if they get it ironed out, as a snowball to keep rolling, to influence some other things Trump wants to do with China and Russia in tandem. I think it might work out. We'll see, though.
Well, let me tell you something. Russia is no friend of the United States, but they're not the enemy that everybody thinks they are.
We've got worse.
Because, don't you remember when Obama was so palsy-walsy? Just tell Mr. Putin I'll have more flexibility after my election. It ain't been that damn long, and Russia hasn't changed that much. Tell me where Russia has changed that much. It hasn't. They were our buddies back then, and then all of a sudden, Hillary, it's Russia collusion. He's an agent of Russia, blah, 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 blah. When the truth does come out, and it will come out, we're going to find out that Russia's not the bad guy that they're made out to be. And Russia doesn't hate the Americans. They hate our government.
Right.
Was Snowden a bad guy? Hell no, he wasn't. We would not have known any of this. Julian Assange?
Right.
We would never, ever known this. And most recently, if Musk had not bought Twitter back, that election would have been stolen this last time. And you know what? For those of you that are writhing and twitching and hating what I've got to say, I hate you hate it, because it's the damn truth. Anyhow, I'll quit preaching. I'll turn that back over to you. I appreciate you picking me up, and keep on keeping on, dudes.
Appreciate it, Cranky. Thank you for calling that baby ugly, because it is.
It is an ugly baby. Seen a few of them. Never had one, though. Always birthed beautiful babies.
Right. Well, and again, remember how the war goal was always to take back all the sovereign territory of Ukraine. And from early on,
right,
especially after the Istanbul peace negotiations just fall through. Thank you, Boris Johnson.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it was always just not true. It was just not a real goal.
Right.
It was an excuse that played on your moral sensibilities. Whatever Cold Warrior is still left in you.
Mm.
And I think part of it is it's the product of this whole Russiagate thing. Trump and Russia, Trump and Russia, Trump and Russia. Russia stole the election and put in the Putin stooge and Trump and Russia. Oh, no, let's kill him. Like, it's not that far off. You worked people up.
Well, look at the results.
And folks act like the killing and dying started when Russia did the full invasion. Now, thousands of people had been fighting in that area. Thousands had died. This had been festering for a while before the full invasion, and the Europeans screwed the pooch royally. The whole Minsk II thing, as they all admitted, well, that was just a ploy to, pull the Russians along. Crazy people, man.
No, you had to save them before, so this ain't.
What did you accomplish?
They don't look at it that way.
Yeah, it's not if you impact the world in a good way, just that you impacted the world.
Yep.
Yeah, and made yourself rich in the process. Hey, let's go to David. Hey, David.
Hey, Dave, what's up, bud?
Hey, guys. I heard a statistic this past weekend which basically tells you how bad things are there in Ukraine. The average age of a Russian army fighter in Ukraine is 25. Any idea what the average age of a Ukrainian fighter is?
I don't.
42.
Dadgum.
Yeah, I heard double. Yep.
Which tells you basically the Ukrainians have been bled dry of everybody under that age, and now they're having to have basically old men fight the war for them.
Old men and the mentally weak is what they're doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's what's happening.
But, that statistic tells you basically what you need to know about how badly that war is going for Ukraine, regardless of what the media and the government are telling you.
Well, they should have made peace in Istanbul. Okay,
had the
let's
chance.
say you don't make peace there. You should have made peace after your successful spring offensive, where you pushed the Russians back into a strategic
some
defeat.
negotiating
But no, we got to keep doing it. And then they run up against that real defensive line. It's a meat grinder.
Right.
Sure, yeah. And how apt is it, almost ironic, that here they are fighting in the Kursk region, which was the bloodiest battle of World War II between the Russians and the Germans. I mean, that's just unbelievable. The irony of that, about 80 years apart.
Yeah.
So, anyway, have a good one, guys.
Hey, David.
Thank you, David.
I just appreciate the push for peace. I really do.
Yeah.
It's insanity how much we and everybody else in this world, especially our adversaries or peer competitors, whatever you want to call them, trying to catch up with us, spend on weapons.
Yep.
What Ludwig von Mises said, war brings prosperity like a hurricane or a plague or a tornado. Because people are always like, "Oh, we broke a bunch of stuff. Well, we gotta fix it, and that'll make the economy boom." But you broke a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
And it's one thing to break a bunch of stuff and break banks while you're doing it. Well, some people make bank, breaking yours. It's another thing to take human lives. Entire towns gone. Think of the small towns around here. If you're in that setting in Ukraine, you're gone. And we just flippantly talk about this from 10,000 feet above, like, well, want to make an omelet?
Well, what you said there about whole towns being gone, that's one thing. But you remember our Civil War where we lost generations.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's happening there.
Yep.
There's entire generations that have just disappeared off the face of the earth now.
But again, it's great to have a president that actually
uses
his strength to want peace. Doesn't seem the case.
Yeah.
No, for so much of this, especially the 3 Obama terms. Yes, 3 Obama terms.
Yeah.
It was like, well, let's talk nice and we'll get everybody to negotiate and we'll just get a bunch of people killed while we blather about human rights.
That's it.
What about their human rights? The dead people. Anyway, I need to hit a break.
Let's break.
First, though, this entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. They can help you, especially if you are under a mountain of credit card debt.
A lot of people are, Joey.
I know, and it's not like interest rates on credit cards, especially if you're just doing minimum payments. It's probably 24%, 29%.
At a minimum, 24% minimum.
Maybe higher than 29. And you're like, well, I'm not, because of my credit score and stuff, I'm not going to be able to refinance a mortgage at the best rate. It's going to be better than what you're paying on those credit cards that continue to pile up.
Yep.
And Kim and Madeline can get you that best possible deal so you can get out under that mountain of debt, restructure your finances, and just get on it's not just having that weight off you. It gives you a plan of action going forward. It gives you breathing room where you're not stuck in the same pattern over and over again. And especially if you're a veteran, you need to take advantage of these things. They specialize in helping veterans take advantage of those benefits through the VA home loan programs, including refinance deals. Y'all check them out today. That's Alabama Home Mortgage. That number 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline proved that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. I'm waiting a call from Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances, but first let's go to David. Hey, David, how you doing?
This isn't David. This is Chris.
Hey, Chris.
I'm sorry.
He wrote it down as
sure
David.
That's okay, man. What's going on?
Just trying to make peace.
Yeah, I got you. Well, you're just talking about our war effort in the United States for Ukraine, and the dirty secret is a lot of people made money off of sending armaments over to Ukraine, and unfortunately, the state of Alabama's probably made a lot of it too, as far as economic impact. But I read something recently about Europe. Europe is in a stalemate with themselves. They can't grow.
Yeah.
They can't produce anything. They're behind on AI. They're behind on it, but their economy's grown. And the only reason their economy's grown is because of the war in Ukraine.
Well, and
spending-
yet with it growing, they're still flirting with a sovereign debt crisis. Especially, they have maybe I'll ask Austin Branco about it, because they don't have a Fed like we do. They have these weird IOUs across nations, and Germany's holding all the IOUs, and it could be nasty.
This never really worked out in the past very well for them.
Right.
But the problem is, though, too, Ukraine has always been a kind of a laboratory for using, of course, drone technology, all this technology over there. We've had biolabs there that we really don't know much about. So a lot of really insidious stuff has been done over in Ukraine. And the quicker we find out, the better. And this Zelensky guy, I mean, I know there's people that hope the best for Ukraine, but this guy is nothing but a snake. He was put there actually during the Obama administration, during that color revolution they had there. They had a democratically elected president there, and then they toppled him. They went into chaos, and then, of course, Zelensky pops out of nowhere, this actor, and it was just part of kind of the cabal that was going to keep the war going for people to make money off of. And, yeah, the guy does have a house in South Florida somewhere. Seen video, people driving past it in one of the canals down there. Have you seen that, Eddie?
Yep. Wow. I seen one of the people got in trouble because they threw eggs at it. That's the video I saw, yeah. That's how I found out whose it really was.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy stuff, though. But, the more Doge finds out, the more it's going to find out how much money we've just wasted just in general as a country. And Joey, I went on that website, and I just started seeing all this crazy stuff that we're spending money on. I mean, it's just absurd.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, we're not talking like $1 billion. We're talking millions and millions. There was a contract with a consulting group. It might have been a Deloitte. I don't remember. The contract was for $1 billion.
And that's a lot of money to be able to give out. That's not just money. And that's the thing. It's not just money. It's power over people.
Right. And if I were giving you $1 million, I would expect I'm getting something back. That's how this works.
It's crazy.
Well, the thing is, like I said, until you start getting deep into this stuff, and you look at the companies, right, that are involved. It's all these LLCs, consulting groups.
Yep.
And then it's like, where are they from? Who are they connected to? Who's on their board? Who's the politicians they're paying off or giving money back to? I mean, this thing has so many arms. It's really opening the world, and not only our country, the world, to kind of how we do business here, which is pretty disgusting.
And to use Elon Musk's language, it's not a system of merit or competency and care. It's a system of privilege and pull with a humanitarian veneer on top of it. But I got to run, Chris. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Chris.
Let's go to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Oh, good, especially that Eddie's back.
You got your little helper back.
Yeah, Michael acted as if he had never heard my voice before. Apparently,
really?
It's been a while. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, God. I mean, it's like it's your birthday.
Yeah. Got any presents?
Yeah, I got one for you.
Got any candles I can blow out? All right. But how's it going there today?
I don't know where that's going.
I was going to make a wish. How's it?
Yeah, that's what this is, the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
That's exactly right.
Oh, but how's it going there today, Cohen?
It's going great. It's been a good day.
Why is it so good?
Well, I mean, we got Michael Jacks out there installing TVs.
That's good.
It's always nice when you have a custom. Of course, it's a double-edged sword. What I'm about to say. You have customers you do work for, and you do a good job, and then everything becomes too easy because Michael Jacks made it too easy, and then they stray, and then they can't wait to come back. But it's that they strayed and had to learn that lesson again, that everything that's plug and play doesn't always play.
Right.
And so anyway, he's out fixing that for one customer and installing televisions and sound bars for other customers.
Well, and I've seen him at work myself, folks. He gets the job done well, swiftly, but also thoroughly, which is very important. And, of course, you can always shop from home at thinkcohens.com, whether you're looking at TVs or sound solutions, audio solutions, or maybe you're looking more on the appliance side of the store, from washer and dryer units to kitchen appliances galore to even a grill. Grilling season will be back before you know it.
That's right.
And you can, again, look online at thinkcohens.com, but I encourage everybody to stop by the Boulevard. Go see everybody in person at 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, and be sure to find Michael and be like, hey, I heard you on that show with Joey, and I think the other's guy's name is Eddie. And, y'all are still open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays?
We are.
Okay, awesome. Folks,
We are, and the best way is to come into the store where we can ask questions, you can ask questions, and we can help you make the right choice, because there's so many people that, advertise and makes everything look stupid simple. But once you get in the middle of it at home, it doesn't always work as simplistic as it looked like it did.
Wait, the commercial I saw, the guy had his TV installed and he had an infinity pool. I thought if I installed the TV, I would have this infinity thing. No, that's not how
it works.
I thought if I got this haircut, I would look like Brad Pitt. No, that's not how it works. It's
that's not what she said.
Well, that's a good woman. Then. Appreciate it, Michael. I really do appreciate it, man.
All right,
see you, brother.
We'll be back right after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. At least 2 people are dead after a mid-air collision involving 2 small planes in southern Arizona. It happened near an airport on the outskirts of Tucson. President Trump's nominee to lead the Department of Labor has been hailed by union heads as pro-labor. U.S. Representative Lori Chavez de Rimmer from Oregon is appearing before the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions for her confirmation hearing. Kansas, the latest state to ban sex change operations for minors. The Republican-controlled legislature voted Tuesday to override Democratic Governor Laura Kelly's veto of the measure. The action makes Kansas the 27th state to ban or restrict such care. On Wall Street, stocks have been wavering but are now higher. The Dow up 7 points, the Nasdaq ahead 35. This is SRN News.
Happy birthday to us. 2 surprises for you. 2 surprises from NordVPN. 2 surprises for you.
Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN. We have a special birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. NordVPN is rated as excellent on PC Mag. Visit NordVPN.com and discover one of the most advanced VPNs in the world. What are the benefits? Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Receive alerts if your email address leaks to the dark web. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool. Encrypt your online traffic and browse with more peace of mind. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by the Harriet 2.
The Harriet 2 Riverboat has the perfect way to start your weekend each Friday with the Spring Dinner Cruise. Enjoy live entertainment, dine on a delicious family-friendly dinner with your favorite beverage from the Cash Bar. Boarding starts at 6:30 and the cruise at 7. Book your cruise today at funinmontgomery.com.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready to dress in layers. We have some Arctic air that's going to dominate our forecast for at least a couple of days. Today, breezy and colder, high temperature only in the lower 50s, falling later, then sharply colder tonight. Low temperature by dawn in the mid-20s with the wind chill factor in the mid-teens. Thursday, a very cold winter's day with a high temperature only up to about 41. The low Thursday night into Friday morning near 20 at dawn, wind chill factor 14. Friday's high does not make it out of the 40s. Back to the 20s on Friday night, and the high temperature will recover a little bit into the 50s over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Katie Britt is praising President Trump for a recent executive order that was issued this week. Trump directed his domestic policy team to reevaluate the accessibility and affordability of the in vitro fertilization process to Americans. Trump says that the IVF process is helping create families where conception and pregnancy is difficult for a couple. Senator Britt says Trump has been a driving force in this area and is keeping his campaign promise to make IVF available throughout the nation to couples who want to start a family. Britt says that as a result of Trump's leadership, IVF will be more affordable and accessible to loving American families. Britt says she plans to offer legislation in the Senate that would further secure Trump's pro-family agenda in this area. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Ryan Dawson here, CEO of 1819 News. I'm also the host of 1819 News, the podcast, and we'd love for you to join us by listening to our weekly show on all the top podcast apps, both in audio and video format. At 1819 News, the podcast, we are in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama. Every week, we're having important conversations with guests from across this great state, all with the goal of equipping Alabamians to be in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama with us. New episodes are released weekly. I hope you'll join us.
Attorneys for a Birmingham man charged with capital murder have filed a motion this week requesting that any jury verdict in this case be unanimous since it also involves the death penalty. Giovanni Clapp is being charged for the murder of Mahogany Jackson back in February of 2024. Jackson was first reported missing by her family. Her body was found a day later. Multiple people are accused of taking part in the assault, torture, and death of Jackson. A man is facing charges in Blount County for sex crimes after a sting operation was conducted there. 44-year-old Everardo Aliantra has also been placed on a detainer in the Blount County Jail for immigration and custom enforcement agents. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Before you buy new floors at a discount store and get them installed by the cousin of a friend who does this kind of thing, consider the better option. Prattville Carpet carries the most reputable brands for selection, style, and quality you can trust. And with their non-transferable lifetime installation warranty, you'll never have to worry about hardwood warping or carpet buckling. Your floors will stay as beautiful as the day they installed them.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measure. Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation, but hold your horses here. Eddie, how you doing? I'm sorry, I didn't even turn your mic on.
I'm doing well.
Well, joining us now, returning to the show, and reacting to what's going on with the state legislature right now, we have retired but Admiral Kent Davis. Right. And Kent, it's great to have you on the show again, sir. And how you doing, first off?
Hey, Joey, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me back on.
And we covered it with Jeff Ford at the very beginning of the show. What happened last night is I was leaving this show yesterday about 2:30 in the afternoon. It looks like this bill in the Senate to reshape and restructure the Veterans Board had been delayed. And then as Will Ainsworth left, Senator Smitherman takes the chair, and they're able to get this thing through. So, I mean, and it was a substitute bill. So I just kind of want your general reaction to the latest out of the legislature.
Yeah, this gets more surreal by the moment, to be honest with you. I'm actually down in southwest Alabama and rural Alabama, and I happened to listen to the Jeff Poor show this morning, and I agree with some of the comments that Senator Chris Elliott made about this. He said, basically, this doesn't seem to be good faith negotiating how this played out last night. And he even made comparisons to Nancy Pelosi that, this is kind of the philosophy of we have to pass the bill to find out what's in it first. So what happened last night is causing dismay in the veteran community, once again, needlessly. So, yeah, there was an announcement that the bill was going to be carried over. Some of the veteran service organizations were in the gallery at the time. They left. They said, okay, we'll come back when they reconsider this. The lieutenant governor left. They turned over the gavel to Senator Smitherman. And then all of a sudden, on short notice, there's this substitute bill that changes everything that's introduced. No chance for senators to read it, digest it, consult with their constituents, and through parliamentary tactics, it was brought up for a vote. It's the most bizarre thing I've seen in a while, and everybody's scratching their head saying, what is the rush? Why is this happening? Well, a lot of people are drawing conclusions, and I know you and Jeff Poor have discussed it, but those are reasonable conclusions.
Yeah, and so this goes back to, is this just retaliation against you? Or I don't think it's just you. I think it's the board who stood up for you and kind of pushed back against the governor.
Well, look, everybody knows the governor got her pound of flesh for me through her supreme executive power. That'll play out in court. But then she got really ticked off because the SBVA, the state board, after hours and hours of public meetings to go through the facts, everything, said, okay, this was much ado about nothing, and said, well, we disagree with the governor. If you had just gone through the facts, and of course she's ticked off at that board now, so the bill that was passed last night basically removes all of their power.
And it allows her to essentially hire and fire a commissioner, and it demotes the board itself to just an advisory role?
That's right. She got everything she wanted. There's a ruse out there that, oh, we listened to the veterans and this was a compromise.
No.
That's kind of a joke. That's not true at all. So the SBVA has been made completely powerless. They're an advisory body that everybody can ignore. And this is not the end. It's gotten to the point of pettiness now, what's pretty obvious, the retaliation. It's not going to stop. And the veterans are saying, yeah, we tried to compromise. I've talked to the veteran service organizations about this. They're in the mode now that they're not listening to us and don't seem to care about us. That's a little dangerous politically. And I know Troy Carrico wrote an article in 1819 News about this. Our brothers and sisters in the Republican Party better be careful, because it's starting to resonate in the veteran community that if you're doing this to us, do you really care about us? You're not even listening to us.
Right. And I'm seeing here, 1819 News always repopulates around 2 o'clock, and the top story is House Committee delays vote on the Ivy-backed ADVA restructuring. Quote, we decided to slow this down a little bit so we have maximum visibility. I mean, what do you expect in the House, Kent? I know there's going to be a big rally at 11:30 right in front of the State House next week on Tuesday, I believe. But
yeah, that's right. On Tuesday, February 25th at 11:30 at the State House, a very polite, respectful rally just to remind elected officials, look, there are 400,000 veterans in the state. When you add up their dependents, we're almost a quarter of the state of Alabama. Please don't ignore us like we feel like has happened over the last few weeks. I do give credit. This is going to surprise some people that know our relationship, but Representative Ed Oliver was on Jeff Poor's show this morning and said, look, we're going to slow this down a little bit. We're going to listen to veterans groups, and I salute him for that. For some reason, he doesn't like me. I don't know why. I've never had a harsh word with him, but I salute him for this, and I mean that sincerely. They need to slow it down, talk to veterans. He talked about the possibility of a conference to work out differences between the Senate and House versions. That substitute bill last night was a surprise to everybody, and they need to talk about it.
Well, my one worry is they slow this down enough to where at the last second they can pull the rabbit out of the hat and get it done. So I'd imagine the pressure and the eyeballs, everybody needs to be keeping their focus on this until the very sine die is actually wrung out, and we're
Yeah, last night was an indicator of some of the parliamentary tricks that can be played, and I'm telling you, it is not resonating very well today in the veteran community because my phone has been lighting up all day about this.
Glad you're getting feedback.
Yeah, and it's just, as I've been saying on the show repeatedly, rotten seeds are going to bear rotten fruits, and I never have gotten, I appreciate you telling us your side of the story. I've never gotten a real clear understanding of what exactly has the governor and her staff so ready to put this in the state of the state, and I find the language of elevating it, it's just, it's too cute by half.
Yeah, a lot of generalities. There's a lot of talk about, they push to the forefront. This is about elevating the department. This was proposed several years ago by the state board and AlaVetNet, and it was roundly rejected by the governor. So I don't think that's the motivation because it was tried before. A lot of generalities about we need to improve Veterans Affairs. Okay, what specifically are we not doing? I've heard nothing specific about what improvement needs to be made. In fact, the lieutenant governor said things are going pretty well. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why are we messing around with something that's been working pretty well and we've made great strides in taking care of veterans? I think there is confusion. A lot of the social media comments that I see from non-veterans complain about veterans' health care and medical services, not understanding that the state has nothing to do with that. That's the federal VA. And I think the perception amongst some is, we need to improve services, especially medical services for veterans, and this bill will do that. This bill will not do that in any form or fashion.
Now they need to be calling up Doug Collins, who's the new VA secretary out in Washington.
And their U.S. congressman.
Oh, yeah. Gary Palmer. Actually, I think he's on the right side of these things. But we'll see. Anything else we're leaving on the table before I let you go, Ken?
One last thing. Great sneak preview about the rally. They've invited me, the organizers have invited me to that and speak, and I'll make a few polite but firm comments. This is, veterans tend to be respectful of the law and people's feelings, and I think they're just going to talk very respectfully about their concerns. Another sneak preview, I talked to Troy Carrico earlier this morning. He has another article coming out in 1819 News, a little sneak preview. There's been a lot of talk about the procedure and the substance surrounding this bill and a lot of valid questions, but Troy, I think, is going to talk about what are some of the real motives behind this from several parties, and I think it'll be eye-opening to people.
Well, I'll be looking forward to that, and I love having that gentleman on the show frequently on a regular basis. And, of course, that big rally where you'll be speaking is coming up Tuesday, the 25th. I believe it'll be 11:30 starting there in the morning outside the State House. And
that's correct.
Well, folks need to show up and show out. If you're a veteran, you don't like what you're hearing here, you don't like the process, it just stinks, show up on Tuesday morning and let your voice be heard.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Joey.
Thank you, sir. Again, that is Admiral Kent Davis. Appreciate his time. And over the last several months, how we've been discussing how this came about. Like, I just think it's an example of how insular Montgomery can be.
Well, I love it when big boards like that get together and we're doing this for you, Joey. Okay, well, could you take a few people like me and put them on? No, Joey, we're doing this for you. We don't need your input.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. How about this? Let's hit a break. Reset things here. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the health care of the people of the River region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River Region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. Did you know the current national average turn time to close on a mortgage is 48 business days? But not at Alabama Home Mortgage. At Alabama Home Mortgage, our average close time is 16 business days. That's a month faster than the rest. How do we do it? With over 60 years of combined experience in the industry. Our team knows mortgages. Our years of experience yield a better experience for our customers. Folks, time is money. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, don't waste time with another mortgage company, bank, or credit union. We close on time, every time. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our fast turn time is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. You know, AI is so useful for so many things, finding waste and fraud and
girlfriends,
corruption, malfeasance, all the things going on. Girlfriends, that's creepy.
No, dude, a lot of guys, that's how they're practicing learning how to talk to women.
They're talking to an AI robot?
Yep. To have the confidence and the verbiage to be able to talk to women. Think about how many guys want to and just don't know what to say. Like, it's easy for you and me to talk. We're guys. We talk guys. But a lot of guys get a woman in there and they don't want to say, hey, how's the Bears doing? Or, you know, they don't know what to say.
Right.
Well, no, I'm not pointing at you at all.
Say, but I don't feel like talking to a robot's going to make me any better.
It makes them a better conversationalist.
What is it, like a visual thing? Like you're...
No, it's I don't think it's visual. I don't know.
Let's hope not.
No, I don't think it's visual at all. But I think it's
gross.
Just
like,
how to talk to a girl. Things you don't say to girls. Like, you know, I don't want to say them on here. I'll get in trouble. But things that guys would say to guys, you don't say to girls. Some guys do not know how to communicate with women. They just don't. It kind of makes it a little bit easier.
No, I think AI is... I mean, good luck to those guys. Whatever helps.
We need it.
But AI has been used. You know how they constantly said, like, we have to protect our democracy?
Oh, yeah.
Like the Democrats and the corporate media, we got to protect our democracy.
Yeah.
Well, AI has been used to change all of this, where it's still in their own voice, but they've changed the word democracy to the real thing they're trying to protect.
Oh?
Let's listen in together.
Democrats fail, it might be the end of American bureaucracy.
Our bureaucracy really is in fundamental peril.
The foundations of American bureaucracy under attack. They want to destroy our bureaucracy.
We are a bureaucracy in danger.
We're watching an election where people are on the ballot
openly advocating the end of bureaucracy.
That's what Republicans are doing, attacking bureaucracy, attempting to destroy bureaucracy, and they're doing it with glee.
This is the end of bureaucracy in America.
When will America stop sleepwalking towards the end of bureaucracy?
Right. It's Democrats versus, as Bill Kristol says, the end of bureaucracy.
We are essentially, as Neil put it, one vote away from sort of the end of bureaucracy as we know it.
I think our bureaucracy and the stability of that bureaucracy is really the thing on the ballot and really so important.
Oh, is that crybaby Kinzinger?
I believe that was.
Is that Adam Kinzinger?
I believe that was.
Oh, crybaby Kinzinger. But yeah, that's what they're actually trying to protect.
That's how I see it. And so
Absolutely.
I don't have a problem with what's happening.
Well, and Brett Baer did an interview with the new Secretary of the Treasury.
Yeah.
And short clip here, because this guy can be kind of boring. But
Brett Baer?
Well, no, Scott Bessent. What a nerd. But he's asked about everybody belly aching about Doge.
This kind of fear mongering doesn't help anybody. But it tells me that people are worried that, that they're part of the waste, fraud, and abuse.
And you think there's going to be a ton more?
I think when I came in, we all think there's waste, there's abuse. I think there may be some real fraud here, Brett.
You think?
Well, and I'm looking at an older, but people are put it out. It's from Real Clear Investigation. Because everybody's already trying to fact check finding all the numbers of people who live in like 200 years and whatnot, who have numbers. Well, somebody started sharing this, and it still applies from 2 years ago. I'll just read it direct.
All right.
The historic surge of illegal immigrants across America's southern border is fueling a hidden crime spree few in Washington seem willing or able to address. Widespread identity theft, victimizing unwitting Americans perpetrated by migrants who need U.S. credentials to work. An extensive review of government reports, think tank research, news accounts, and interviews with policymakers and scholars suggests the problem involves millions of people, though measuring it with precision is difficult because of the lack of data provided by authorities, which, by the way, is the biggest thing Doge is doing. They're getting all the data. A telling indication of the scope of the criminality is provided by a little-known government accounting book, the Social Security Administration's Earnings Suspense File. It reflects the earnings of employees whose W-2 wage and tax statements have names and Social Security numbers that do not match official records. Again, do not match official records. The total logged in the file has increased tenfold from $188.9 billion at the dawn of the millennia to $1.9 trillion in 2021. Wow. $188 billion to $1.9 trillion in 20-something years.
They're not even looking at it.
Officials have historically ascribed a quote, unquote, high proportion of the file's growth to wages reported by illegal immigrants, and it has swelled alongside their population, which stands at a conservative estimated 11.5 million today, 7 million of whom are employed. This, again, was a report came out in 2022. The number's much higher now.
Oh, yeah.
Among those doing so on the books, federal authorities have found that well over 1 million are using Social Security numbers belonging to someone else. That is stolen or quote-unquote shared with a relative or acquaintance, or numbers that are fabricated.
Yep.
The data held in the ESF would enable authorities to pursue many of the fraudsters, but the IRS and other agencies responsible for enforcing the law have been reluctant to investigate, and regulations have prevented meaningful information sharing among them. Again, Doge is getting to the bottom of all this. This identity-related crime is providing a windfall for the U.S. government, though.
That's why they haven't looked
at it. A 2017 study from the Conservative Federation for American Immigration Reform found that the federal government collects about $22 billion annually in tax receipts from illegal aliens, with the bulk going towards Social Security, about $12.6 billion, and Medicare, $5.9 billion, programs from which non-citizens are ineligible to receive benefits. FAIR estimated that illegal migrants also paid $3.3 billion in federal income tax, a smaller proportion primarily due to illegal aliens' lower wage levels, and another $1 billion in state income taxes. In other words, the fraud has the effect of bolstering financially shaky federal programs. And by the way, let's not forget about is this a net gain or a net loss? It's good for the program to keep operating.
Sure.
But how much is that then being abused and paid out back to these folks? In other words, the fraud has the effect of bolstering financially shaky federal programs. And one of the agency's rare direct statements on the issue, Social Security Administration Chief Actuary Stephen Gose told CNN in 2014 that without, quote, undocumented immigrants paying into the system, Social Security would have entered persistent shortfall of tax revenue to cover payouts starting in 2009.
I don't find that to be true.
Leading progressive representative Pramila Jayapal echoed this observation in 2018, arguing that a complication of then Trump's plans to limit immigration and the effect on our Social Security earnings suspense file, money that keeps our Social Security system afloat.
Two wrongs don't make a right, Joey. But it goes back to that story I told you about Lil Pimp at Hyundai.
Mm-hmm.
That's one guy. You and I both know there's thousands out there. But what happens, Joey, if you get a notice from the tax office that says, Joey, you underpaid your taxes this year.
Mm-hmm.
We see where you made $50,000 a year, or you wrote 50, but in reality, we've got records of you making 100. Well, Joey says, I only made 50. I had one job. Well, Joey, apparently somebody has hacked your Social Security number, got a 1099, and now you owe their taxes, Joey. Because it's not worth for us to look into it because we got paid and we're fixing to get paid again.
Well, and keep reading from this piece from 2022. Until today, authorities have focused on this apparent windfall to the U.S. Treasury, but they have largely ignored the costs. These include the significant strain illegal immigrant households place on public finances, which FAIR and other estimates vastly outweigh their tax contributions, their impact on crime in the job market, and on the victims of identity theft. Reports dating back over a decade show that hundreds of thousands of Americans are unknowingly, quote-unquote, sharing their Social Security numbers with illegal immigrants. Such victims may face tax bills for income they didn't earn or depleted benefits, to your point, Eddie. Or some may experience the burden of bad credit histories and criminal records inaccurately attributed to them after being issued Social Security numbers that illegal aliens had previously invented and used. The overall impact on American citizens is largely unknown because federal, state, and local governments, as well as financial institutions, have generally failed to notify them, even when fraud is suspected.
Stories about that.
The relevant agencies were largely non-responsive to Rear Clear Investigation's requests for updated figures on the size, scope, and extent of the fraud, nor have lawmakers recently given voice to the victims. Congress seems to have last led a hearing spotlighting the defrauded, over a decade ago. Related legislation aimed at reducing Social Security number fraud in employment has typically languished, and many lawmakers Real Clear Investigations contacted indicated only a passing knowledge of the issue. One thing experts do agree on is that the problem is likely to get worse as more illegal immigrants cross the border and seek work. It's kind of incredible. So when everybody's jumping the gun, like, oh, you didn't find any, they're just getting started, folks. They're at Doge. They're just getting started.
When you talk about the Social Security numbers of active people that are working, well, how many people die every day? There's a bank out there of Social Security numbers.
All right.
So, and you're right. It drives me nuts the fact the federal government knows this.
Well,
your state government knows this.
For instance, here from this story, I'm not reading the whole thing, but this part's interesting. Aliens can procure Social Security numbers in several ways. Some simply conjure a 9-digit Social Security number out of thin air.
Yep.
Others use the numbers of their children who were born in the U.S. Still, others steal them directly from individuals, purchase them from dealers for $80 to $200 along with a green card, as can be done in Los Angeles or via the dark web for as little as $4. While some illegal immigrants work off the books, the Social Security Administration has previously said that 75% are using fake or stolen numbers. By doing so, they gain access to broader employment opportunities. There is another powerful incentive for paying taxes as well. By dint of their generally low income levels, illegals can receive reimbursements through making use of deductions and exemptions, as well as rebates via refundable credits, leaving many with tax liabilities of zero or even as net recipients of government largesse. Immigration proponents contend that many do so in the hope that paying their taxes through employer withholding will weigh in their favor in a future amnesty, reflecting good behavior. Their fraud can be detected each year when employers submit W-2s. The Social Security Administration analyzes, is that how you say that word? The W-2s to detect inaccuracies such as mismatched names to the numbers it has on file. And so essentially a lot of this is not being actually enforced.
Because they know.
Right.
Because they know.
And often a lot of these oversight or auditing groups aren't talking to each other. So they might look at one aspect of it and they don't get the full warp and woof of the picture.
But what kills me is when you talk to someone that works inside one of those organizations and they will quickly give you tips. Don't do this, don't do that, don't. And you're like, why? Oh, I see this all the time. Then why are you just telling me?
Right. It's absolutely crazy. By the way, Brett Baer asked a stupid question because they made a big deal. Scott Bessent, well, I'll just let you see the clip here. I kind of like Bessent's response to all this.
Highest ranking gay member of the cabinet. Is there history there?
Wait, this has gone from like this guy over here, he's gay, haha, and now it's like, no, we're celebrating you. You're the highest ranking gay member of the cabinet. Happy days are here again. And you can see Bessent's kind of like
probably taking it back.
You know,
you're also the highest ranking gay member of the cabinet. Is there history there?
Well, I think I'm actually the highest ranking openly gay official in U.S. history.
That's true.
U.S. history, but what's important to me is it's coincident, not causal. President Trump, I believe, picked me because he believed I was the best person for the
There you
job,
go.
not because people with green eyes are better Treasury secretaries, not because of sexual preference. So, it's a different way of looking at the world.
Basically, it's what you've been talking about, merit-based. And we were talking about the history. It's a merit-based thing.
Yeah, look, President Trump, I think, is a symbol of one of the greatest, maybe the
so
greatest.
uncomfortable.
This is so awkward.
It's so uncomfortable. Is this the first gay guy he's ever spoke to? He's so uncomfortable.
No, but you're the first openly gay guy that has this high-level cabinet position. Congratulations, folks. I just want to make clear, it's not that he likes dudes. He's just really good with numbers. But we want to point out his sexual preferences.
Right. But it's merit.
Honestly, especially the older I get, like, I don't want to hear about anybody's sexual preferences.
Gets gross, don't it?
Like, I don't care if you're gay,
No,
straight,
doesn't matter.
whatever.
It's all gross.
Well, the grossest is bi. You're just a hoe. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Pardon me. Or I'm a sapiosexual. It's like, you think?
It doesn't even bother me anymore. It's the, honest to God, as I get older, it's the fact, the thought of people having sex. It grosses me out.
Yeah, it is gross.
It grosses me
No,
out.
I like to think most of these people,
does.
whether I'm
What's wrong with me?
walking through the state house or I'm watching politics on TV, I like to think they don't have private parts.
Oh. Well, let me tell you a number my mother did on me.
Oh, no.
She told me this one time, and it's never left. Whenever she sees people, she wonders when's the last time they had sex.
What? When did she tell you this?
I think I was 12. I think I was in the Parisians department store.
Ew.
Then I
That
started
makes it
looking at people
worse.
a lot different. And it stuck with me most of my life.
Like, so sometimes I sit down here in this room and you start thinking about the last time I had sex. That's
With you,
weird,
it's
dude.
Easy. With you, it's easy.
Yeah. That's true. That is true.
But it's very uncomfortable. She put this thought in my head, and it comes up at the most random times.
So when was the last time for
What?
me?
I don't know. I don't really think about it. You just... okay, I think about it, but I don't want to discuss it, Joey. I feel very uncomfortable with it. I'm hoping you had a good time, though.
Yeah, it's just weird, man.
Right.
Right. Great for Scott Besson. Like, he seems like a smart, competent, and caring fellow.
He does. But had Brett Baer not gone over the top with his
Wait.
gayness, would you have...
Wait, was Brett... I'm trying to... Let's pull this back up on the stream. Is Brett, like...
Of all time.
Is Brett...
And we're here to
Is
help
Brett
him
tapping
push.
his toes in a certain... Is that code? Like... What is that sound? I don't know. No, but, like, it's so awkward. You can see Besson's like, come on, man. Like, it was a good interview. It's just... Goodness gracious. Can't have nothing.
Just celebrate the man for his accomplishments. What's wrong with that?
Reminds me of old Norm Macdonald segment on Dennis Miller that I cannot play on air. But it's so daggone funny. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And they're at River Region Contracting. Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you out with that roof of yours.
That's right.
They're not associated with any other roofing company here in the River Region. It's Todd Clark there at River Region Contracting.
That's right.
And they're the ones that'll come out and inspect your place for free.
Yep.
Always free. Inspections as well as estimates. So they did find a problem, they'll write up an estimate for free.
A very accurate estimate for free.
And then they show up on time?
Show up on time. They're very professional. They
Right.
won't leave any trash, debris, nails in your yard. Who
Or like
wants that?
fast food and,
Right.
and soda bottles.
Who wants? I see it all the time, but I know that's not a roof that they worked on. They did mine. They've done, let's see, 2 of my roofs. They've done Pam's roof twice. I've never heard, and believe me, people always tell me if something bad. I've never heard one bad thing about it when I recommend them. The complete opposite. Even had a lady that had an insurance issue. I said, well, here, give these guys a call. She called me back about a week later. Brand new roof, insurance issue, gone. Thanks to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They're so good, folks. They do great work. And hey, it could be they come out and inspect and they go, you're golden.
Oh, that's
And
such a
you're
good
like,
feeling.
A peace of mind.
That bump I heard in the night, that was nothing. Okay.
Right. And also, I know a lot of folks worry about insurance companies. Like, you've been paying in. It's like, am I going to do the claims thing right? They're
Yeah.
insurance specialists there. They can help you at River Region Contracting. So call up Todd Clark and the team at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Pamela Dubuque is in studio in front of a microphone. We don't have a camera on her. But,
Hi.
hi, how are you?
I'm good. I had to sneak in. I come to Montgomery way too early sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, you just come right on in.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Typically.
Well, I love that,
I just
yeah.
make my way in.
Love that.
Yeah. Interrupt the boys club.
It's a bit of a boys' club.
It can be.
I can't believe your mother did that to you when you were 12.
I got a worse one. I can't just say it on air.
Oh, my. Now I'm going to start thinking about that.
I'm glad I passed it on.
I just
Oh.
looked at you and said that. I don't want to think about anything.
That's the thing, Joey.
Don't think about it.
You don't think about it. It just comes into your mind. I mean, it just, at that
That
dang
thought
this
has
time.
never entered my
It
mind.
will from here on out.
No.
I promise you.
I'm
You'll look at me
no.
tomorrow and go, you
Wait, did you
SOB.
learn this stratagem from your AI girlfriend?
No, but
Oh my gosh.
I did learn that women are not into baseball. I learned that from my AI girlfriend. Not into baseball at all.
Wait,
It depends.
is your AI girlfriend a fembot?
She could be. Didn't think about that.
I mean, technically, AI girlfriend and fembot are
Mm-hmm.
synonymous.
Baseball, cold showers, Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. Let's go to line 1 here on the air. Who's us?
Soldier boy.
Hey, Soldier Boy.
Boy, you guys make me wait. What I do? Get punished?
No.
I can make you wait longer if you like.
Go.
Click faster, too. I'll play some good video games, baby.
Wait, is that clicking or toe tapping? What are you doing on that side of the phone?
They, I don't feel sorry too much for Russia or Putin. He is so similar to John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy didn't want missiles in Cuba parked right outside his front door, and neither did Putin, because if they would have become NATO, they would have had those nuclear missiles right on their front door.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Second thing is, Putin wants old Mother Russia back. He's old KGB, he's old school, and he wants the country back.
He
he's
pretty
willing
much
to compromise.
stated that, didn't he? That he wants to bring Russia back together.
Absolutely. So he wants to. That's what he's trying to. I can't blame him. It's like me to being the president trying to bring back the 50 states.
Right.
Again, very similar. He's trying to do what he thinks is best for his country. Same thing that Lincoln did. With his rules after the Civil War, we survived, and I think Russia will too. And here's the third thing is that who's at the our president Trump will be getting a Nobel Peace Prize anytime mailed to his front door down there in Florida. Because last time, didn't he bring peace down to the Middle East, down there with Saudi Arabia and all these other countries?
Yeah, the Abraham Accords. Yeah.
Yep.
Did he get anything for that?
No, Biden immediately scuttled it and screwed it up.
And it's amazing. But, Obama shows up at a party and gets one for peace.
This is true.
So, if Trump doesn't get his Nobel Peace Prize, man, we know this crap is rigged. Okay.
It is rigged.
Yeah, it's rigged, but I think he's going to get it anyway. I think he's just going to take it. Oh, I mean,
Well, I agree. Well, I don't think what country would have it right now. It sounds like not too many countries have an issue with him being awarded. And when is it going to be awarded? Do you know?
That I don't know. I have no idea. Let's see if we can get the Google activated.
The Google activated, and the bottom line is, if anybody deserves it, it's him. I mean, it's just amazing. And who was it? Biden made no attempt when Zelensky, as long as the money kept coming, he had no chances of
Oh no, he's not going to stop that.
a peak.
Well, I got to hit a break here, Soldier Boy, and I appreciate you being patient.
Hey, they meet mid-September, so hopefully mid-September we should
We'll
hear
see.
some answers.
We'll
Yep.
see. Appreciate the call, man. We got to hit this break.
Thanks, Soldier Boy.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing.
Hey, this is Robbie Clark. Spring is almost here. Stay cool with a spring tune-up with Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. Don't wait. Schedule today. Give us a call at 334-277-2125. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas weather. Well, hi, everybody. Get ready to dress in layers. We have some Arctic air that's going to dominate our forecast for at least a couple of days. Today, breezy and colder, high temperature only in the lower 50s, falling later, then sharply colder tonight, low temperature by dawn in the mid-20s with the wind chill factor in the mid-teens. Thursday, a very cold winter's day with a high temperature only up to about 41. The low Thursday night into Friday morning near 20 at dawn, wind chill factor 14. Friday's high does not make it out of the 40s. Back to the 20s on Friday night, and the high temperature will recover a little bit into the 50s over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Is your business feeling the heat of cyber attacks? Tired of worrying about ransomware, data breaches, downtime, and employee mistakes? GTI Managed IT Solutions has been your trusted partner since 1999, safeguarding and supporting businesses like yours from the ever-evolving threats in the digital world. GTI, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call us today at 819-4650 or visit gtinow.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The premier place the river region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the show. Closing moments here of the program. It's been an all right day, I suppose. Not only is Eddie Bader here, they've now added a camera to the system, so we have all three of us.
Nice.
And, you know, Greg keeps telling me he's going to stop in early. I'm happy to put him on camera, too.
Yeah, where is he?
Oh, that would be a festival. We would have quite the festival in here.
No, he needs to come in.
Yeah.
Very festive indeed. It's always more festive when Greg's there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how are you?
Good, good. You know, yesterday I was talking about my little procedure I had done.
Yep.
One thing I didn't mention is, so when I was laying there waiting to go back, I was out. I was just still asleep. I was gone. And poor old Anne just sitting in this hard, uncomfortable chair for like 5 hours, waiting on them to take me back. And when they come to get me, the guy looks at the chart and says, Ray Bowles, is he the one that's making an idiot out of himself every time he writes?
Oh, I love it.
The one and only.
The one and only. And then he says, I see why he's not on TV.
Yeah, you and me both.
So that's the way Angie explained it. I was asleep. She could be lying. You know, I'm just going by what she told me. So, yeah, she got a kick out of that one.
Well, the fact that she sat there with you, that says a lot, Ray. I got to be honest. Once you dozed off, I'd have probably let myself go and come back later on in the afternoon to pick you up.
I'm like, I know what I would have done. But that's the difference between a wife and a husband.
This is true.
A wife's going to sit there and mother you, and a mother instinct kicks in. A husband, I'm going to go get a thing out of the soda machine, and I'm back in like 4 hours.
That's right. That's right.
It reminds me years ago when it's Emma went to Auburn, and it was a parent day that we had to go walk around Auburn. So I show up, I sign in, I said, Emma, I've got to go measure 2 jobs. I'll be right back. And I left her there. And when I got back home, I got in so much trouble for that.
Oh my gosh.
And it's one of them. I mean, I was trying to make some money to pay for college.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't see why I needed to be there. I signed in and left. And I mean, I had her on my phone. I knew who she was. Well,
I got a car. I can come back.
Right, come back.
Yeah.
That is the difference between a mom and dad.
Totally different
Big
between
time.
mom and dad. Mom would have never left them there.
Nope.
So now that Sailor's going to Alabama, that we've signed her up for that walkthrough, Angie's like, "You're not taking her. I'm taking her." Lesson learned. But listen, that's the whole moral of the story. If you can hear it's Auburn, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham. If the job's big enough, we will come to you and measure free of charge. Like Chad was actually in Huntsville this week.
Oh, wow.
2 nursing homes. And so, yeah, absolutely. We will travel. We'll come to you. And there's a reason people all over the states call them Travel Carpet is because of the service, the price, installation, and what we do after the installation, which is we protect you from now on.
There you go.
That number's still 285-8117?
Call us today. We'll come out and give you that free measurement.
And when you call up 285-8117, be sure to say, hey, who's that guy making a fool of himself on the radio? I want to work with him. He sounds great.
Great guy.
Yeah, and don't be surprised when you come in. I do not look as good as I sound.
Well, I appreciate the call as always. I'm glad the colonoscopy lasted 2 days on air.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Hey, bud. Another difference between a man and a woman. I don't think the woman would have called and talked about the colonoscopy.
Why not?
No.
No?
I don't like to hear about that and think about it existing at all.
Ah, right.
No, I got the skinny that like some guys who are like, you know, hounds. I almost said the full word.
Yeah.
Like they're hounds for it. I've heard about it's like slow escalation of touch, like a handshake, and you rub the hand. And you see the person again, and it's like rubbing the back. And it's like slowly just like, yeah. And I'm like, that's the worst. No.
I can find a much easier way. So you find out what kind of candy she likes. Okay? Whatever kind of hard candy. Every time you see
PSA's
her,
warned me about you.
Every time you see her, you have that hard candy available.
Oh my
and
God,
then
Eddie.
She will get used to that good feeling.
That
and
hard-
she'll type. Well, whatever candy. It could be a
Pavlov's
now later.
bell.
It could be whatever.
Well, it's better than soft candy.
She relates that good feeling. The candy goes away. She relates the good feeling with you. And you work your magic.
Pavlovian response. That's what you're going with? Pavlov?
I'm going with the science brother that works from a guy who outkicked his coverage.
Whatever happened to, you know, like romance and love?
I ain't got time for that crap. Sorry, Pamela.
Yeah, this is just depressing.
No, it's not. You have that during the time.
During the time?
During the time you're together and not miserable. Okay. That's when you have the romance.
What else did we learn today other than your mother scarring you irreparably when you're 12?
Well, that we need to throw the bums out.
Throw the bums out.
Throw the bums out. They are coming after your overtime. They don't want you to have anything that's any kind of rights whatsoever. We've got a governor that, let's be honest, Not much different than the president we got rid of. That's just my opinion. It's a hot take, like it or not. I find it to be the truth.
I like it. We also learned that Trump and Elon are like besties.
Yeah, they're besties.
I thought Katie Britt and John Fetterman were besties for the resties. I think it's Trump and Elon now.
But what I do worry about when people become besties, especially when they're top performers like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes when they do have a falling out, it can get really
real nasty.
Yeah.
Well, here's one of the sort of like brother moments, like brother, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's
Starlink at some point.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is in over.
They said they was asking like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries.
Trump like that one.
It's going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing two brothers here. You go ahead.
He is like his big brother.
Really is kind of great. And then Trump went on very generous praise. Let me pull this up here. Elon said, I'm just a technologist, Sean. And then Trump's like, you're being bashful.
Man, I know the good ones, the bad ones, the smart ones, the lucky ones. I know them. This guy's he's a brilliant guy. He's a great guy. He's got tremendous imagination and scientific imagination, far beyond, you keep talking about a technologist and all, but you're much more than a technologist. You are that. But he's also a good person. He's a very good person, and he wants to see the country do well. And I know a lot of great business people, really great business people, but they're not really, in some cases, very good people. And I know people that would try and take advantage of the situation. This guy's somebody that really cares for the country. And I saw that very early on. I saw it really a long time ago when I got to know him. He's a very different kind of a character. That's why, who loves him? Young people that are very smart and that love the country.
Oh, thank you,
That
Mr. President.
warmed my heart. That was so sweet.
Yeah. Like, when has Trump ever done? He is known for the platitudes like, you're so beautiful, Pamela. You're going to do great things.
Yeah.
You just have to believe in yourself.
Right. I like it.
I like it. What, you think that the heartbreak
when
might
he
come?
gets sent to Mars, we know that Trump is done with him. When Trump says, hey, you know what? We're going to get this. We're going to let him go to Mars after all. Yeah, he's done with him at that point.
We'll see. I mean, every day there's something new.
I hope the bromance goes on forever because I
Yeah.
love the fact those two powers are together.
Yeah.
I do love that. And the fact that people are trying to break them up just cracks me up.
Haters.
Yeah.
Never going to break us apart.
Never.
And on that.
I thought we were out already.
Oh, man.
I thought we had a hard out.
No, I'd let it simmer. Anyway, y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Beadell and Pamela. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center.